All right, we're going right into it. There's no intro song or anything today. How's it going, guys? We finally have some actual updates in the Bricks and Minifigs case, and the gag order from Reckless Ben has been lifted. So we've got a variety of videos today. Well, not really, they're all in the same variety, and that is related to the Lego. Now, of course, this all started a few days ago. Reckless Ben posted this.
I was wrongfully silenced.
Hold on a second. Let me really quickly just change everything. Okay, there we
go. I am no longer.
Let me know if the audio is fucked or anything.
Mystery company.
But today, I got my freedom of speech back.
I have my freedom of speech back, baby. I can say whatever.
All right, so he went up onto this big tower. It'd be pretty stupid if he just like died doing this. And I just watched that movie, like what is it called? The Fall or something? You know, there's like two chicks and they climb a radio tower. But anyway, he's fine. It's fine, obviously. So very woohoo, let's go, fucking go. The Legos is happening, all right? So that happened a couple of days ago. Of course, part 3 was available on Patreon earlier, and definitely go support Reckless Ben over on Patreon if you want to see the new stuff before it gets over to the YouTube people. Now, before we get into the actual stuff, there's a few things I want to show first, which is, the first part is this video by Lego Empire. Bricks and Minifigs just agreed to pay Reckless Ben, which is very, very strange thing because it seems to be completely counterintuitive to what they're going on with the lawsuit. There's also an update by Legal Mindset saying Reckless Ben is free, but there's a catch. So we'll check those out real quick, and then we'll go in to see how he did in the actual, well, the court case. And I actually have some very big problems with what Ben is doing, although I am for Reckless Ben, of course, and I'm against the evil Lego company. However, he is taking some pretty fucking reckless decisions that I have to be critical of, particularly in the Fork County Police case. He just is like, you know what? I'm just going to use Grok or ChatGPT. I mean, he doesn't actually say that, but I assume that's what he's doing. He wants to represent himself. I think this is a terrible idea. And I think that perhaps in this story, the biggest story is actually the corruption in the Fork Police Department. And I would hate to see it be all going to naught, essentially, because he's trying to make a video or he thinks that he's like can get like a big win over the company just by doing everything himself. We got Moose to you with a 10 Australian says 10 pretend monies for the wheelchair video. Oh, I'm glad people enjoyed that. That goes a long way, actually, because like I think I looked at a short video like that. It only generates about $1 worth of revenue. So appreciate it. All right. So let's get right into it. We've got a bit of a quick and easy stream tonight. And then about 13 hours, there'll probably be some Jeremy updates because I want to wait until the part 2 of his vlogs come out to see just how it's going. So you might be able to expect a stream in about, let's say 13, 14 hours. Maybe that. All right. So the first part is by this Lego Empire video. Let's check this out real quick. Put this on 1.2.
Pay Reckless Ben a hefty sum of money. Today, Reckless Ben posted an update video on his Patreon going over the ongoing legal situation and giving an update on part 3.
I guess my mouse is lagging a little bit there. So I actually haven't seen this part where he says that he just got this money from them. So
I can't show you the actual video itself because it is, of course, on his Patreon. If you want to go watch it, go subscribe to his Patreon. But with that being said, Ben in this video gives us a lot of good information. He goes over how his legal team and Bricks and Minifigs have been negotiating during this case. And I am under the impression that this started with the modifications of a temporary restraining order. And during that time, there were other negotiations going on between Reckless Ben's legal team and Bricks and Minifigs legal team.
Now, with the stuff that Ben's actually got, because while I was saying that I was very critical of his not taking a lawyer approach in the Fork County one, he did have a lawyer in the actual versus BAMs, particularly Amon. I think it's Amon, Josh, and Brandon Best, and the company itself versus both Brian and I guess is that new end guy as well, but also mostly Ben. He's released a bunch of information which looks really, really bad for the parties involved. So I think he's doing a great job there, which is why I'm saying I hope he just doesn't fumble the ball with these shenanigans, because he's a very over the top guy, a very consummate entertainer is how I would describe it, which is a great thing to have. However, maybe I'm just being too practical in this. We'll see though. We'll see.
team. And at some point during these negotiations, Reckless Ben's team basically pushed for Bricks and Minifigs to pay damages for every day that Ben was under the temporary restraining order. And this is something I've actually been bringing up, and I said that I hoped that Bricks and Minifigs would pay Ben damages for what has gone on. And if you're wondering what the reasoning that Ben's lawyers gave for this in the negotiations, it was that Ben suffered harm each day that he was silenced. And the very ground...
I mean, without actually knowing, without like kind of going into this blind, Ben could definitely make this argument. Because every day he can't talk about this is his job. He's taking financial hits. It's like forcing a company to stop working for the duration of a lawsuit, which can last for up to 2 years. That can potentially destroy most businesses. So he absolutely does have a claim here. Although I would be surprised if this was granted this just based on how obtuse the Utah judicial system has been in this case so far.
That Bricks and Minifigs got this temporary restraining order approved on in the first place.
Where Bob Ben was thank you very much with his gorilla ass
doing some crazy stuff. There were some false claims involved. Specifically, he references the bomb threat allegations and claims that Ben was going to, quote, shoot up Bricks and Minifigs store.
Yeah, this part, it looks so bad when you actually get to the Reckless Ben video because he requested and received a lot of the body cams, and they show just how precious and how salacious in some situations Amon McNeff and Bricks and Minifigs was saying all these crazy things about what Ben was going, like, oh, we're scared for our lives, he's going to attack us. Not really, not really. Now, I do think that Ben, I'm going to be honest, I think that Ben committed several crimes in his pursuit of justice, and hey, look, I don't give a shit about that company, so they get what they fucking deserve. However, you know, maybe not all the time, two wrongs don't make a right, etc., etc., etc. However, if he didn't take this approach, then maybe none of this would come to light at all. So I guess you can, you know, it's one of those tricky situations because I do believe that justice is more important than the legal system, and laws should be just, but not all laws are just, as obviously. This is a very brave take that I'm making right now. But at the very least, Reckless Ben did commit several crimes, not maybe including threatening the company. Fuck, the name of it's escaping me. When you blackmail, is that the word? No, it's something along to that. There's a lot of B's in the chat. How's it going, Kick Bros? Potentially fraud of a charity / fraud of a raffle, which is a big one. Although it was very funny when we saw that in part 1. Because he knew that he wouldn't be able to get the logos from that technically would be a fraudulent charity on reviewing the situation. Now it's very funny, and they get what they fucking deserve. And since they were so abusive in this entire situation, you know, I don't have any sympathy for them whatsoever. I'm just saying that these are the facts.
Which we all know Ben was never doing.
He's just a kid. He's not just a kid. He's 30 years old. Okay. I'm both a kid. I'm not a kid, obviously, but like I'm in my 30s too, but not for much longer. But like, yeah, I thought for sure he was like at like 18, 20, 22, something like that. But no, he's just 30 years old. Okay.
That he's never going to do that. Like there was
How's
never
it going,
any
Kino?
reason to believe he would. And apparently, Bricks and Minifigs' legal team agrees with that and knew that the grounds his temporary restraining order was granted on were completely false because Bricks and Minifigs' legal team seemingly agreed to the terms to pay Ben for every day this temporary restraining order continues. Which I gotta say, this is a really good move by Ben's legal team because, at least in my opinion, it seems like Bricks and Minifigs' strategy since the beginning of this case has been, number 1, silence Ben, number 2, keep it going as long as possible. You know,
well, yeah, because they have a much bigger war bank of chess than Ben, and it's very easy to crush small competition, which is exactly what they were trying to do with Brian Mansell.
It's through delays, sabotaging some motions and some joint filings and things like that. I mean, Ben has been silenced for how long from this temporary restraining order?
About 1 month.
That has like seemingly no merit whatsoever. And even when there were some...
I think that part of this restraining order was... Actually, I'm not sure. Hold on. I was going to make a legal statement, even though I'm not a legal person. I'm pretending to be one. Don't get that impression that I am. But I might wait until it comes up in the actual Reckless Ben video.
Joint filings from Ben's legal team and Bricks and Minifigs and other defendants in this case, there were clear grammatical and structural errors in these motions that would basically have any judge in the country deny them because it's just like, what are you even doing here? And there have been terrible motions, like the way they are written, have just been guaranteed to get rejected and not signed off on by the judge. So at least from my perspective, it seems like Bricks and Minifigs' strategy has just been to keep Ben's silence for as long as possible and do anything they can to prevent the part 3 from being uploaded. It really makes me wonder what the heck is in part 3. I guess.
Well, I mean, we're going to find out tonight, but the thing is, it's too little and too late. Any action, any legal action from Bricks and Minifigs or the McNeff brothers, or there's other 2 characters, Brandon and Joshua, anything they do is going to stoke the flames of animosity between the public and Bricks and Minifigs. It's a complete no-win situation for them. Now, should companies have to live in mercy of YouTubers? Probably not. But in this case, they've abused their position of trust in the LEGO community, and they're suffering the backlash from it. That's why people are so invested in this story.
Have to wait and see, but something I'm really curious about is what kind of weight this agreement holds moving forward in this case. You know, Bricks and Minifigs' legal team agreeing to pay Ben for every day the temporary restraining order continues. And I'm also really curious.
I mean, how much is the amount, though? I guess Ben didn't mention this on his Patreon. I'd be very curious to know what the actual amount is. If it is commensurate to his actual YouTube earnings, then that would be a lot. Which is actually kind of funny because there is a detail that comes up in the Reckless Spend Part 3 where he is taught, like, it's some body cam footage, and one of the female cops, gun drawn, doggo don't die, etc. She says, he's just a YouTuber. How much money could he be making? Which is very funny.
Why they would even agree to that unless they knew that those false claims were.
Hold on. Shinobu says, I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on YouTube. Isn't that every YouTube lawyer?
Blatantly false, like obviously false, that the temporary restraining order was granted on in the first place, because them agreeing to these terms basically goes against their whole strategy. You know, if they want to keep Ben silent as long as possible, but then they agree to something that would punish them for keeping Ben silent for a longer time, you know, that's kind of counterintuitive. And Ben goes on to say that Judge Tony Graff, who was previously on the case in the Utah District Court, is super difficult. That's what Ben says, super difficult. And we all know this for reasons that, you know, are up for interpretation. I'm sure we all have our own ideas on why Judge Tony Graff has been difficult in this.
I mean, why do you think the judge is being difficult in this Utah state, chat? Do you have any ideas? I think a lot of people have their suspicions about why they're being such cunts over there. But I don't know, the conspiracy runs deep. Who knows?
Case, but yeah, nobody's really a fan of him, you know, that I've seen on social media. He has made some questionable choices, and to be honest, he's just kept this case going for a long time, and seemingly.
I wouldn't say that. I don't think this case has been going for a long time. This has been very early. Like, one of the things that's very unfortunate when it comes to legal cases and lawship in general is that legal cases typically take forever, like years, 2 to 3 years in many cases. It's not a fast process, and it doesn't really suit or mesh very well with kind of the instant gratification. We need the next piece of content now on YouTube. So like this has only been going for like several months, I believe. Now, if they're talking about the further, I think the earliest lawsuit actually would have been March, which is with the Crystal Gorman and her husband, whose name escapes me, but I'll just call them the Gormans for now. Is it Crystal Laura? Is it Crystal? It's Gorman, right? It's Gorman now. I think their one is as early as of March this year. So really, it's only been going for about, what, 3 months at most, which is like a blink of an eye, really, under the legal system.
Nothing good has come from it. And then Ben says that episode 3 is finished and ready to post. So it'll go up the moment the temporary restraining order expires. But something
This isn't quite true, because, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this, but like one of the things that Ben does do is that he hypes up like the stuff on the Patreon first, which is, you know, a very good effective strategy as a YouTuber. But I think that one of the problems that he has had is that by time gating a lot of this content, he's been limiting the reach of this story and the ability of other people to investigate this, such as like, I mean, you know, people like CoffeeZilla or these other like internet sleuths and everything. Now, of course, he does have the right to do this because he's invested so much time, effort, and put his own self on the, you know, on the edge of risking potentially legal jail time, massive fines, and everything. But no, this could have been posted days ago. He decided to post it for a day, try and get some more hype up for the Patreon, and then release it, and then it's there for a couple of days, then it goes to the YouTube. Now, while, again, that is fine, that's his legal strategy. I mean, sorry, that's his business strategy. What if the judge had come back and said that, no, the restraining order is now in effect again? He could have completely fucked up the entire situation.
I'm really wondering about is, now that this case is in federal court, what kind of bearing will the apparent agreements of...
Yes, it's very reckless of him. I mean, the thing is, I am trying to add, like, my thoughts and feelings on this situation. However, I have to give a lot of credit to Ben. And this is like the problem is that you get some people that come in and they're like, you can't say this about you're a Lego simp. I mean, you're a Lego company. I don't even own the Legos. Okay. And I want to see this company crash and burn, to be told the truth about it. But like, he's done so much good things in just bringing this story to light. But those don't need to be mentioned because it's kind of self-evident. So when I bring up these little small details, it sounds like I'm being very critical of him when I'm just kind of giving my own thoughts and like my own concerns, because there is always these concerns when you have these like massive cases. Like I think everyone remembers like the dog pack situation, which was like when he was going to take down Mr. Beast, and there was like the first 2 episodes were like, oh my goodness, it's happening. The Shadman conspiracy, it's all coming. Then like there's this weird like Mr. Mark of the Beast and the occult thing, and it just like the guy was actually just turned out to be completely fucking insane. Now, fortunately, that hasn't happened here yet, and hopefully it does not happen again. But it's always I've got a bit of the once bitten, twice shy is the situation that's going on.
These terms to pay Ben for every day the temporary restraining order continues. Is that in writing somewhere? Like, how concrete is that? Because that is huge. Because, Ben deserves to be paid because he has lost revenue from not being able to post part 3 and other content on Bricks and Minifigs. Not to mention, the very reason he was silenced in the beginning was based on completely false claims. And Ben goes,
yeah, it seems like a complete suppression of his First Amendment. It's unpatriotic. Not that I'm American or anything.
On to basically confirm what we've all assumed, that Bricks and Minifigs has been delaying things for a while. Ben says that he planned to release part 3 like I think days ago and at different times, in correlation with the joint filing to modify the temporary restraining order, but they've all been denied all the modifications for obvious reasons. So Ben has not gotten the chance to post part 3. He's just been delayed day after day, basically being told, okay, tomorrow or the next day you'll be able to post it, and then that time comes and yes, there's still delays and he still cannot post it. He is still silenced. So now the case is in limbo, and Ben says he's of course confused about what's going on, the constant delays and all of that. And as someone who is not a legal expert by any means, this case has also confused me in many ways, and it's been a learning experience for sure. But now this case is in the hands of Judge Cecilia Romero. I assume she is the federal court judge, and she needs to sign off before the temporary restraining order is lifted. And as
female judge, I don't like the sound of that.
Soon as she signs off on it, part 3 will release as quick as possible. And honestly, this whole ordeal, this update really reminded me of how stupid of a decision Bricks and Minifigs, Ammon McNeff, Matt McNeff, everyone involved in decision making at Bricks and Minifigs Corporate, how stupid they've been throughout this entire situation. I mean,
I think everyone has kind of come to this conclusion. Like, why are they going so hard on this situation? Like, let's pretend that the entire claim by Brian Mansell is completely fraudulent and that Ben is just a liar or something. There's a very clear, and I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying let's have a hypothetical situation. Like if we didn't eat breakfast this morning, how would you feel, sort of thing? It's a very clear business calculation here to just give the man as much Lego as you can to make this situation go away, because they potentially lost hundreds of millions of dollars in franchises going forward because of this case. This is one of the stupidest corporate decisions I think has been seen in years. Really nothing else comes to mind like a fumble of this magnitude. And all they could have got rid of all of this for approximately $100,000. Now, should companies have to just pay out these extortion things? No, of course not. But in the case where they're clearly in the wrong, and maybe I think Ammon McNeff was maybe ignorant to the situation going into this, but certainly around the time when they fired Brandon and Joshua, that would have been the time to make an apology and come forward and give just straight up give Brian Mansell $200,000 and just say, look, we apologize. We were in the wrong. We've terminated the bad actors, and going forward, we're going to try and be more observant or something. That would have been so easy. They had the perfect fall guys as well. And it seems that this timing matches up perfectly with the CoffeeZilla investigation. So it's most likely that they'll fight directly after the interview with CoffeeZilla, specifically when he showed the U-Haul truck in the reflection of that window on the night that the store was taken over by Brandon from the Crystal.
Okay, we don't know the exact number of how much money they potentially got from Brian Mansell's collection, how many items they kept, or where they were moved, or who has.
Now, this is actually a kind of a question that I still have, and I would like to come to light, which is why this kind of has to play out in court, I think, is because one of the questions and criticisms people have as well is, okay, so it's been confirmed now that the Lego company did steal, whether either intentionally or did steal a large portion of this collection. However, how much of this portion was sold and was still remaining on the books that Crystal owned. This is one of the things that comes up in the body tape, where she says, like, I need to know how much to pay out for Brian. Now, they said they were going to take over that consignment, but one of the counter theories that I've been seeing quite a lot, and I've even talked about this quite extensively with some people online, is that just how much of a bad actor or ignorant actor is Crystal in this situation. I think that she's definitely guilty of being a terrible manager. Now, has she maliciously taken any money? I don't think so. But if, like, we're looking at something of $60,000 that was sold while it was at the store under Crystal's control, and this money is never made it to Brian, and Crystal says that she doesn't have it. So where is it? I would like to think that it was in the corporate accounts. Now, if it's in the corporate accounts, then that means that Bricks and Minifigs just stole everything, and Crystal was just a bit of a goober, but, you know, doing her best or whatever. However, if she was keeping this money separate, like in her own personal accounts or something, then she's liable as well, obviously. She's an Antifa super soldier. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, they're very, like, her and her husband are very cringe. They're very Antifa. But that's not a crime, right? It's a thought crime.
What nowadays, but, you know, if we just estimate that $80,000 to $100,000 of the collection, which, you know, now up to current knowledge, that's like about half of the initial collection's value. If we assume Bricks and Minifigs assumed $80,000 to $100,000 of that collection, it is insane that they are doing all of this over, let's say, $80,000, because
yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make much business sense. It's such a stupid idea, and it seems like it's purely because of pride. Now, I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. I think there was a very close relationship between Ammon McNeff and Joshua Johnson. They were missionaries together, like in the Mormon church. There's like photos of them, I think decades ago, where they were working together. They clearly know each other very well. Joshua Johnson was a corporate Bricks and Minifigure employee, and then also a multiple franchisee owner. So clearly he was protecting his boy and swooping for his boy for a long time, until the point that he got fired. Like, and I say fired in quotation marks, because what actually happened is that they decided to mutually part ways, which is kind of like code for firing, obviously. However, it seems like there was a bit of shenanigans going there. And again, it's so stupid to do any sort of shenanigans when they've got this much of the public watching, because what it seems like they were doing is they're just reforming their LLC under a different name and continuing to do business. So are they really fired? Are they really let go from the company? Or are they still the franchisees owners under perhaps a trust or something? And they even talk about this in the body cam. One of the officers is saying to Joshua directly, like, do you know that you can put your house in a trust and then people can't search for your name, etc., etc., etc. And Josh is talking about, like, yeah, I guess I'm going to do that real quick. I know some lawyers that can, like, run this up for me. And he's got some very shady past as well. Like, these people have been in these grimy professions for the longest time, which doesn't give them any sort of benefit of the doubt when you've got, like, basically debt collectors, or what exactly? It wasn't debt collection. I think it was like I think it was quite literally how to take over other people's companies and sell them out, etc.
Now they're going to have to pay Ben for all the damages caused throughout this case. They already have to pay all of the legal fees, all the attorney's costs, everything involved with a big lawsuit like this.
This is a good one. It looks like Brandon was skimming off the top and even screwing over Eamon, not just Crystal. I mean, this is kind of my personal theory. Is I think that on the night that they took over the Salem store, is that they found this massive, like, legacy collection in the back, and it seems very, maybe not conclusive, but it seems very, very plausible that they just decided to basically rob the Salem store blind, send basically all of the Star Wars Lego collection to their location. I can't remember the location as it stands now, but it was the guy that Copium interviewed. And then they just use it to restock their own franchisee, and then essentially launder the Legos into the franchise owners, their franchise piggy banks, which is unjust enrichment. And I think that as this goes forward, like, this is becoming such a global story, really, that if there's any people that bought these legacy sets from those particular stores, particularly the one that was mentioned in the CoffeeZilla video that escapes me at the moment, but the one that he took the U-Haul to, I'm sure someone in the chat knows it. What if the buyers start coming up and showing up with these sets and these boxes? And if they've got the same stickers that Crystal had on the set at the time that she's got photos of, that's going to be very conclusive that they were just robbing this store blind.
It is insane. They are spending all this money just to, lose a case probably and have the public hate them forever and tank their business. I mean, we've already seen sales are down quite a bit, 25, 30% across different Bricks and Minifigs locations.
It's not even just the sales, because the sales obviously are about a large part of their business model. But it seems like the corporate company entity of Bricks and Minifigures, they make most of their money through opening new franchise locations. It's kind of like the McDonald's CEO doesn't really make money from the burger sales, but from owning the land and owning the actual stores that are being opened and everything, et cetera, et cetera. Who wants to be a Bricks and Minifigures franchisee owner in this climate? I don't think anyone does, right? Like it's it's almost like politically tainted, a sort of thing. It's like the same sort of fervor that you see where people are like ringing up and threatening the stores now. People really, really emotionally connect with this Lego story. By the way, Shinobu just subscribed, and also FF sent a hype. Thank you very much.
Already taking a turn on overall revenue for Bricks and Minifigs corporate. So instead of paying Brian, the $80,000, $100,000 and having the public love Bricks and Minifigs, support them and commend them for what they're doing, instead they're probably paying even more, like a lot more, to have the public in the end hate them and sabotage their business. So I'm really left wondering what the idea even is over at Bricks and Minifigs and why they're.
I think this question is kind of like impossible to answer. I think they're just stupid and in too deep. It's like the misbus fallacy. They've invested so much in this to the point where they have to keep doubling down again. That was Lego Empire, relatively small channel, just 71,000 subscribers. Pretty good. Looks like he's got a lot of coverage on updates. It looks like he's doing almost daily updates. You've got Keeps Lying, 200,000. He's cooked. Scam exposed. Going broke. Part 3 is out. Hey, that's what I'm talking about today. All right, jumping over to an actual lawyer. We're going to play his theme song, of course. This is Legal Mindset. So where is his theme song? Here it is.
Legal Mindset. Legal Mindset. Legal dick suckers, more like it.
All right, let's check in and see what Andrew has to say about this, eh?
Today we have an update in the Bricks and Minifigs case, the Lego scandal involving Reckless Ben and Bricks and Minifigs over there in Utah. And this is actually a really big update because the federal judge has stepped in and thrown out the provisions that are holding back Reckless Ben. So for those that have been following this saga, as we have, obviously you're familiar with Ben.
By the way, every time we see him, we got to highlight the chonky cat. I think you can even see Ben smiling. Like, he's fucking smiling here when this Mr. Chonk comes up here. People love this cat. I've seen like people making their own actual Legos. I've seen like fake AI Lego sets of this. Like, this chonky cat is such a good boy. Oh Lord, he's a coming.
Ben, the content creator, and he's been waiting to put out more content on Bricks and Minifigs, on this Lego scandal, stuff he's already done, he's already produced, he's already put his own time, his own effort, his own energy into creating this part 3 and coming even part 4, or so he says. But now he's actually able to speak. So here's actually the context and what happened. The real background is Ben removed his case. He took the case from state court and moved it up to federal court. So he went up to that higher level. He went up to those different rules of procedure. So you're talking about,
did Ben do this himself, or was it? I thought the case was just moved. Did Ben actually lobby for this to happen? If so, that's a good move, I suppose. I was a little bit confused about this, to be honest.
Whole different ball game for Ben now, moving up into federal court, getting upgraded. And because of that, on July 6, 2026, U.S. District Court Judge David Barlow, this is a federal judge, granted the joint motion and amended the gag order, amended the temporary restraining order. And as part of that, so as part of that amendment that is now official, it's now out there, he is explicitly allowed to permit him to do commentary and investigative journalism. This is
he should, as his right as an American.
A massive win for the First Amendment, because if a business was allowed to continue to restrict somebody that's doing investigative journalism, that's doing commentary, they can essentially silence people that they don't want to say things. So essentially a company in the United States would be able to say, I don't like you. I don't like what you're saying. I'm going to go to a judge. I'm going to come up with some bunk story, some total BS, some sort of exaggeration. And based on that exaggeration, I'm going to silence you. I'm going to gag you. I'm going to put a temporary restraining order on you because of that the thing that I just made up. You'll be able to just pull it out of nowhere. And the judge,
and like, I can kind of understand the reasoning for the judge putting the gag order on there. So the gag order was requested, of course, by Bricks and Minifigures' side. Now, I don't think it's justified. However, when you see someone like, let's say you're a boomer judge and you don't understand the context of the story, and you just see this kid who's doing all of these pranks, he's doing all this vandalism, he's potentially committing several crimes in the pursuit of this YouTube video. It seems like she's doing it out of spite. I'm going to be honest. I think that she's kind of, because every judge has an implicit bias. Like they tried to be like, oh no, we're unbiased. We're going to just tell you the right. We're going to uphold the law. We've sworn to hold. Like no, judges have bad days, and then they just give someone 20 years instead of 5 weeks or something because they're just pissed off. Judges are human, and they do this. And I think what happened is honestly that the judge was pissed off. They saw someone coming in and harassing these good Utah upstanding members of commerce and members of the church. And she's like, you know what? I am going to grant this, which is ridiculous. So this is great that they got moved this up to the state court.
Here saying, no, you're actually going to have to go to court. You're going to have to prove these allegations, right? Because Bricks and Minifigs has made a lot of allegations about Ben, saying that he is a bad faith actor, that he's a bad person, etc. And because of that, they're now actually saying, no, you're going to have to prove that. And he is allowed to go out and do his thing and actually do journalism, which is, I think, a massive win. Before we get into the rest of this,
it's an ad. My ad sensor is ticking. You know, talking about ads, what is Andrew Schilling? Morgan & Morgan, I guess you can use Morgan & Morgan and use his QR code if you want. Or you could go over to the Dragon's Treasure. A Dragon's Treasure. And use code COPE for delicious savings on tea. An anime and a haven for anime and tea lovers. Code COPE, 10% off. A tea company that won't get you sick and kill you, okay? We have to throw that in because it makes it sound like the competitors will. All right. Let's continue.
Hold these platforms accountable. QR.
Okay, so let's get into.
I like that Andrew's included the loading bar for the ad, so I know exactly where to skip. That's very, very nice of him.
Recovery of over $1,000.
Okay, so let's get into Reckless Ben's opinion here and exactly what he has been covering in this case and why it's so important that now he can speak. So let's hear his own words.
1 month ago, I was wrongfully
All right, so this is from the short video?
silenced.
I am no longer allowed to even mention this mystery company.
But today, I got my freedom of speech back.
I have my freedom of speech back, baby.
Okay, I want to say real quick here, you know, and this is really good filming, and obviously, I mean, I think this looks like he actually climbed up a tower with a drone shot. But let me ask a question here, and this is the question I think a lot of people are thinking: did you trespass to get up in that tower, or did you have permission?
It's almost certainly trespassing. Although my question was different. This is definitely his lawyer brain activating. See, my concern was, what if he just dies? Like Bricks and Minifigs just gets a default victory because Reckless Ben died doing something reckless.
To go up in that tower, Ben. Here's the thing, and this is the thing that Ben's got to be careful of, because Ben, he seems like a guy who goes out there and does it. It's in his name, Reckless Ben. But I'm looking at him on this tower, like, okay, if you're actually going out there and climbing towers, you gotta get permission.
What, getting vertigo just looking at this? What is that movie? Is it The Fall? It's a good movie. Hold on, let me just see. Oh, it's just Fall 2000. Like, this is a good movie. If you haven't seen this, and I'm not scared of heights. However, this is one of those movies that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. Sorry, it's very tangentially related. I'm just bringing up the picture. Basically, what happens is there's these two girls, and they climb up this like 2,000 feet radio TV tower, and then the ladder breaks, and they're just stuck up there. So the entire movie is them basically just on the top of this tower. Like, how the fuck are we going to escape? It's a very good movie. I think it was like a very low budget, but very good, good box office. And yeah, it's a fun movie if you're looking for something to watch.
You got to go out there. I'm just saying that's the sort of thing that Ben's.
Yeah, there you go. I watched two sweaty. Yeah, it's basically 2 hours of sweaty women suffering. Okay.
Be careful of in the future, because Ben at this point is under a microscope, so he has to make sure he's not doing things like trespassing, like vandalizing, like harassment. He's got.
Well, the thing is, Ben is like, this is definitely a moment where Ben is suffering from YouTube brain, but he's very good at, like, he's a very, very talented YouTuber. And he even says this in part of his videos, where the reason he was walking to Bricks and Minifigs with his piggy bank in his Speedo, naked, essentially naked, half naked, is because he knew it'd be like a viral crazy moment to get the reach out there. He does these crazy things. And he wanted to have like 20 Speedo clad guys or whatever with their piggy banks because he wanted to make it a big splash. So this is absolutely what he's doing. He's thinking content brain first. And again, I wish you'd just be a little bit more careful, but then I guess I'm just like showing my age, I guess.
Got to be a journalist, right? He's got to
put trash movie. No, it isn't. Although, you know what's really stupid about the movie is that they could have solved their situation immediately if they just put their phone on top of the drone and flew the drone down to the bottom of the tower. Because that's never mind. I don't want to spoil it too much.
Journalism hat and say, hey, I'm doing this from a journalistic.
Of course, they're women, so you can't expect them to come up with a logical solution to their problem.
Standpoint, because the last thing you want to do is give your opponent, give them something to use against you. It's not just me being honest about the law on this objectively, because as you guys know, I always cover the objective law and try to be very fair when I'm analyzing these things. But let's hear what he has to say.
I can say whatever I want. I can say Bricks and Minifigs sucks. I can say Bricks and Minifigs just old people. And look, I just said it. I'm not in jail, which is sick. We got our First Amendment right.
I mean, not yet.
Yeah. Episode 3.
Yeah, and that's something he needs to be very careful of. So he can say, okay, now is Bricks and Minifigs steals from old people. He's implying about the theft of the Legos, but he's got to be careful about defamation and defaming these businesses and defaming the people at this point because he's under a microscope now. So he's going out there and defaming them and saying things that aren't technically true, calling them criminals on certain matters that maybe they aren't. Maybe it was just them being dumb. Maybe.
I mean, I think he can call them criminals if he believes it to be true. It's not a lie if you believe it, as the Costanzas said. By the way, like, I've been having so much fun looking at all the different Costanzas that are popping up. I hope they make a Costanza trading card game at some point this year. But like, for it to be defamation, I guess not necessarily, but he would have to know that it was a false statement. I mean, he does have to tell the truth, but I think from Ben's point of view and with Ben's knowledge, he's convinced that they are indeed criminals. I think most people have come to that conclusion as well.
It was a mistake. Maybe it was them being greedy, but that doesn't necessarily make them criminals. He's got to be very careful with his language. But yeah, you can say they suck, and that's totally permissible. You can say they're, horrible company. You can say all that sort of stuff. That's the First Amendment. That's what's awesome about this, and being able to speak up and have an opinion, even though it's negative. You should be able to have a negative opinion about somebody, but you do need to be careful for stuff like defamation, particularly when there's a lawsuit out there.
It's live right now on Patreon, so check it out. If you don't want to subscribe to Patreon, then you can always just wait until it's on YouTube in a couple of days, but it's live. And also, you can check out episode 4 coming very soon.
So really cool there news from Reckless Ben. Obviously, if you're over...
Right, so let's go to the judgment real quick.
Content creator strategy. So in my judgment, wrapping this thing up, Ben can now speak, but he has to proceed carefully. So he is in a situation where he needs to proceed very, very carefully because what he says will be used against him in court. And if a lot of people, especially content creators, they don't realize that their statements online can be used against them in court, can be used by law enforcement.
All right. So I think that's all we need to see from Andrew. A little bit of extra context there and cleared up that issue that I had with wondering about why it was moved to federal court. But that's some good stuff. So now we're going right into the Reckless Ben video. This was posted today, 12 hours ago, I guess. So we don't need CCs on. Let's put this 1.25 speed. This is about 47 minutes. It's a big one. It's a big one. All right. And the first part, I will ask the chat to bear with me here because I'm going to be saying some critical things about Ben in the first part of this video. But as it goes on, it's going to be much more positive to Ben. It's just that I see there's some certain problems that I have with what he's done here.
I'm about to go to court, and I don't even know what I did wrong.
I mean, this, first of all, is kind of a funny statement because specifically he's talking about the case that he's going to court for right then. But he knows exactly why he's going to court because it was his plan to go to court all along. He said that it's time to commit crimes in the first part. This was the plan, was to do illegal things until they got sued. So the plan is working all according to plan. So when he says it's just a little bit of like fluff. It's a bit of pizzazz or whatever. But he knows exactly why he's going to court. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, Bricks and Minifigs is making up tons of lies about me to the police to try to get me thrown in jail so I can't release my documentary about them. But the crazy part is I'm not even allowed to know what they're saying I did. Legally, I'm not allowed to film inside court. So I formally requested the audio, but since there was no visual, I hired an animator to animate over it.
I wonder how much they paid this animator because I'm not sure if it's a gag or not, but at some point they run out of animation budget. How much do animators cost?
Right now, I kind of don't even know what I'm being charged for because all of the body cam footage has been redacted, and they say it's to protect the victims. However,
because this is like 12 frames.
I think there are some redactions that maybe don't make sense and that weren't to protect the victims, and there's some things being said about me that are redacted I don't know about.
I do have some concern in this case with the defendant representing himself. The allegations here...
So this is specifically the one against the Fork Police, not against Bricks and Minifigures, the company. And this confused me a little bit because Ben announced that he was going without a lawyer, and I thought he meant for the entire thing. And I was like, what the fuck? Don't do that. I still think this was a mistake. Now, maybe he gets away with it, but it's a massive gamble. And like the corruption in the American Fork Police Department really pisses me off So I would hate to see it fumbled because he was trying to prove that you don't need to have like a lawyer, you don't have to be like a big company to go up against these guys. I think just get a lawyer. Specifically, use your clout that you've gained from this situation. And I'm not saying clout is a bad thing, but there's so many lawyers, not only YouTube lawyers, but actual lawyers that would take this case on contingency because it's become such a like people could make their career on this case. And he basically has the pick of a litter for any lawyer he wants across the entire country at this point, and decide to just go it alone with, like, I guess ChatGPT or something, I feel is a real bad move.
Relate to the fact that the defendant, he's a person who, he's a YouTuber, creates videos, publishes them online, and has been, if this defendant were to represent himself and we were to provide body cams and discovery, we would be now providing additional information and fodder for this defendant to create videos from which he could profit by placing them on YouTube at the expense of our victim. I have serious concerns for that.
Yeah, the state of Utah is claiming that if they tell me what I'm being accused of, then I'll use it for content on my YouTube channel. And they can't have that. They're arguing to the judge that the best thing to do is to not let me know what's being said about me, which is...
Yeah, this is just like patently absurd. Now, unfortunately, I mean, it's not unfortunate. It's great for us because we love the content. But it's unfortunate that this is the way that the American legal system works for Bricks and Minifigures in this situation. Well, yes, he is going to monetize this entire situation. And if they don't like that, maybe they shouldn't have been a bunch of, like, cunts in the beginning.
Very strange, but that's their argument. And just in case you haven't been following along with this whole Lego story, this is all happening because I stepped in to help a family who got their Lego collection stolen from a company called Bricks and Minifigs. And for the last couple months, this company's been doing whatever they can to get me arrested so they can keep all the Legos for themselves. And this isn't even just me speculating.
And, like, kind of just to lead back a bit into Legal My Sense point here, where Ben has to be careful. He's making a definitive statement here where Bricks and Minifigures stole this Lego collection. Now, of course, we believe that he stole the Lego collection. There is evidence that they stole the Lego collection, so it's pretty reasonable to come to that conclusion. However, if this does go to court and it turns out that it's adjudicated that the Lego collection wasn't stolen, or it actually was the Gormans in some situation, or something crazy like that turns out, then Ben will then be liable for these statements. That's what he has to be careful of.
One of their own employees literally told us what their plan was.
I got a call from my boss, and it was like, how do we get them arrested?
Dang.
How do we get them arrested?
But eventually, Bricks and Minifigs found out that I'm not just some random kid. I'm actually a YouTuber making a documentary on the entire scandal.
So the YouTube guy is named
I want to bring this up for a second. All this shit about some stupid Legos. I think one of the problems in this case, it's kind of funny because it's also one of the reasons this went so far, and also one of the reasons it holds it back a bit, is it's saying it's about Legos. Stop thinking about it as it's about Legos and start thinking about it's about property. The property was stolen. This is all because someone's property was stolen. If you say Legos, it just sounds like a toy, it's silly or something, even though Legos have this incredible value now for whatever reason. I guess because they're always really expensive. But it's about property at the very base of this. And no, you can't just steal people's property. I don't think anyone enjoys having their property stolen. It doesn't matter what it is.
I don't want to be on YouTube.
Yeah, this is when things really started getting crazy. Bricks and Minifigs went into ultimate defense mode and was going to do whatever it takes to prevent this documentary from coming out. First, the police got a call saying I had heroin on me.
And this is one of the things that's really, like, fucked up. And this is why the American Police Department needs to be held accountable, because they actually have body cams in them before this arrest where they talk about how they just want to scare them. I'm sorry, you're not allowed to just go around scaring people as police officers. And this was absolutely bullshit. They searched them for 3 hours. They did every manner of test that they could. They brought in dogs. They did every sobriety test they could think of. They didn't get anything. And then after the conclusion, where they have nothing, they're like, you got to be careful. You guys are on the border. A border of what? You arrested us for having drugs. No drugs were found. We're close to getting in trouble for what? This is ridiculous.
And obviously, they found nothing. But then they got a call saying that I was the one that stole the Legos. I got swatted by the entire police department.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
And we all got arrested. But right when I got out of jail, I got a warrant for my arrest for some mystery crime that I committed.
It seems like this guy might live in LA, or his last known address is in LA.
Yeah, the police showed up to my house all the way in Los Angeles to arrest me without bail.
He was like, just tell him he has a warrant for his arrest.
But the police couldn't arrest me.
And you're where he actually is? No idea. Okay.
I was somewhere very far away.
In Mexico. This is Mexico, right? I don't know.
But anyways, back to court. The judge is looking at signing a protective order to protect Josh and all of his statements about me. If this protective order gets signed, then I'll never be able to find out what he's claiming I did.
I got bad news. I don't think we have any more budget for animation, dude.
Oh, shoot. So how do we animate this next court scene? I guess if we have to not pay the lawyers, then I guess the animation's more important, right?
Yeah, we decided maybe the lawyers are actually more important. So, yeah, we ran out of animation budget. Sorry, guys.
I feel like that's a bit. With the amount of money that Miracle's Ben is actually making from this story, I don't think he actually ran out of Lego money. I mean, animation money. Although I actually do appreciate this style of animation where you just like in Photoshop moving things up and down with the black boxes around them and everything. It's kind of kino.
Court's declined to sign this pretrial protective order unless you have an objection to it, Mr. Schneider, and the objection to such an order.
Yes, I think there's.
In fact, I actually prefer this style. Like, this is maybe not to drag that animator from before, but this is more entertaining to me than that previous form of animation.
A bunch of misunderstandings in this case, and so this person doesn't want to get exposed, so he's making up a lot of lies about me to order to like get me arrested before he gets exposed. So that's what this whole thing's about. However, before I was allowed to show any of the overwhelming evidence I have to support my claims, the judge didn't care about the evidence and signed the protective order anyways.
Mr. Schneider, the court's going to sign this order and serve it upon you.
So the court has made it clear they do not want to look at the evidence and they want to protect Josh and Brandon for some reason. And now I have to somehow fight a court case against all of these mystery crimes against me that I have no clue what they're even saying I did. So this whole mess is happening in American Fork, Utah. But I'm also being charged with another case in Provo, Utah. This is where corporate...
Do Americans really name towns after forks and spoons? Are they actually that fat?
Bricks and Minifigs is, which is why I'm also being charged here. And this police department has surprisingly actually followed the law when it comes to discovery. And they sent me all the raw body cam footage of what I'm being charged for.
Now this is actually really when the case this is when it gets a lot better and a lot entertaining in my opinion. And I love the unintentional like kino aspect of this, that you have these different angles because you can splice, like he does do this actually. He splices together with his previous documentaries, like his spy cameras, which he didn't edit out the date on for some reason. I think that's a big mistake as well, but whatever. It's like, it's cool to see this overhead shot of Ammon and then walks into the actual interview.
Start at the beginning. The moment I first met the CEO.
It's not Fort, it's Fork. F-O-R-K, Fork.
Talking to him right now is because
like, am I being trolled here? I know it's Fork. I know it's Fork. But I just want to look. What does it say there? F-O-R-K.
But I'm also being charged with another case in Provo, Utah. This is where corporate Bricks and Minifigs is, which is why I'm also being charged here. And this police department has surprisingly actually followed the law when it comes to discovery. And they sent me all the raw body cam footage of what I'm being charged for. Let's start at the beginning. The moment I first met the CEO. The reason I'm talking to him right now is because...
Oh, look, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, chat.
Before exposing this...
Make sure you pick up some... Make sure you pick up some of that summer candy cane coffee or whatever that shit was.
Company for the grand theft they committed. I thought it was in good faith to give them an opportunity to do the right thing first before I make a documentary about this.
You had like $200,000 for Legos in your store?
Nope. Never happened.
But the CEO did not want to take the opportunity to do the right thing and instead instantly called the cops on us.
Hi there, I'm calling for a crime.
They themselves say, hey, you guys stole this product from this person. If you don't give it back, I'm going to burn the place down. Or we're going to burn the place down. Or...
Now, I don't think they said this, but they had like an explosion emoji or something or animation in their video, okay? But like to imply that this means they're going to like burn down the building is ridiculous on Bricks and Minifigs' part here.
I'll kill you. It's Ben Snyder who's been the one engaged.
Yeah, like so he's just straight up said, I will kill you. I mean, that's a quote, YouTube, okay? That's a quote. What is being said. I'm not threatening anyone here.
Behavior.
You can see in the police report that the crime he wanted to get us charged for is called extortion, which basically means we're threatening him into paying us, which
all right,
is very illegal. However,
yes, extortion is very illegal, and I'm going to be honest, I think that Ben did commit extortion here. He straight up said to that. Now, you can commit extortion even if you're morally justified to do so. Like if someone actually straight up just takes your stuff and you say, look, I'm going to beat you up, you don't give me my stuff back. That is extortion. That is extortion. I think Ben 100% committed extortion here. However, again, I mean, what recourse did they have at this point? Doesn't mean you can take the law into your hands, but to think that he didn't do it, I mean, he like straight up said to them, look, you can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours. And then he made good on that promise. So he did extort them.
Obviously, he's just making...
Now, will he get charged with extortion? I don't think so. But he did do it. He did do it. Let's be honest here. Okay. Now, again, They're an evil company, so I don't give a shit about it.
All of this up. The reality is, I just thought it was a nice gesture to give him the opportunity to do the right thing first.
If you guys do have our Legos, we just kind of want them back, you know?
But if there's one thing I've learned from this entire experience, it's that whoever ends up doing the morally right thing just ends up getting screwed over. So now it's time to play the way Bricks and Minifigs is playing and use their own strategy against them. Right now, their strategy is to get me arrested before I get them arrested. So now I'm going to Uno reverse this and get Eamon, the CEO, arrested before he gets me arrested. But if I'm going to be the reason that
now this is all very entertaining. Like, this is probably the most critical I'll be of this video in its entirety. This is very entertaining. This is cinema. This is great. This is funny. This is entertaining. But what the plan here is really stupid, I think, in my opinion.
Someone's going to jail, I should probably make sure that they definitely deserve this. So I'm going to give them one more chance to try to do the right thing first. But instead of doing the right thing and attempting to work this out, Eamon just hid in his little office. And he called the police on me.
But they told us that they were.
Normally, I wouldn't want to get someone arrested, but we gave him every opportunity to talk to us.
Got fucking Sephiroth in the backseat here?
So at this point, he's just arresting himself. However, the only difference between my strategy and Bricks and Minifigs' strategy is I don't have to lie to the police. Eamon McNeff actually committed a crime. I have tons of crimes on camera that Eamon McNeff has committed. Let's start at the beginning with crime number 1.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not?
No. So who's
Brian Mansell.
Okay, and who's that?
He's a guy who had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your guys' store.
Nope.
Do the right thing or I expose you would be hard to prove as a component of extortion. The extortion is the implicit threat of, if you don't do the right thing, we're going to try and destroy your company, which is what they've effectively done.
Never happened.
Eamon was first trying to claim that he's never even heard of Brian Mansell, and this guy definitely never had any Legos in a Bricks and Minifigs store. But once we showed him all of the social media posts his own company made, it was very obvious that we just caught him in a lie. So the CEO decided to change his story, and now the story is the Legos used to be in the store, but the previous owner, Crystal, she stole
Reed and Steele says, hello there, Reed and Steele.
The Legos right before they took over the store.
We don't have the Lego. Crystal sold the Lego.
The only problem is their security camera footage of the previous owner getting kicked out.
These are ones.
Yeah, and not only this, there's actual evidence of there being, and it doesn't matter how much. Like, I think Bricks and Minifigures tries to claim that it was only $5,000 worth of Lego that was in the store that was remaining of his collection. What do you mean only $5,000? It doesn't matter. If it's $5, pay it the fuck back. It's not yours. It's theft.
He has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours. If he's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment part.
Corporate just said that they're going to be the ones to take over the consignment deal with all the Legos that are still in the store. And as extra proof that these Lego sets were still in the store, the owner went into the back and started taking pictures of everything that you can verify in the metadata with the timestamps that match the exact moment she's getting kicked out. And then you can see her leave the store with
and that's conclusive proof that there is just the Mansell Lego collection inside the store. Not only from Crystal's pictures, but also from Bricks and Minifigures themselves. And all of this, of course, would come out in Discovery, as well as they just gave all this information to CoffeeZilla.
In her hands, proving that the sets were still in the store and the CEO is lying to us right now. But that's only one side of the story. I also thought it was fair to hear his side.
You sent a bunch of pictures of the Lego still in the back, and you can see in the security camera footage, corporate comes and throws her out.
Oh, great. I understand what you're talking about, but you have a misunderstanding of what has occurred, and you're taking one person's word over another person's word. You can go after the party that's responsible, and you don't want to because that's not easy. You have accepted a narrative that is not real, and you are continuing to pursue that narrative because it's easy and it gives you views and it gives you all sorts of clout and does all sorts of things that way.
So basically what the CEO is trying to explain to me is we shouldn't be looking at the evidence. Instead, I should just be taking his word for it because he said so.
Crystal Law was a former franchisee of Bricks and Minifigs.
Yeah.
And this kind of comes out later, but Ammon was very defensive and aggressive from the beginning of this, at least in my opinion. I think that he did, like, my honest read of the situation is that he didn't understand the situation. Like, he probably knew about the situation tangentially from Joshua and from Kai or whatever, where they were talking about how the store was being, people were coming up to the store. You know, he probably thinks they are actually harassing them at this point, and that Brian's been contacting the store and yelling at them and trying to get them arrested and things like that already prior to getting Reckless Ben involved. So I think Ammon is aware of that, but I think the actual details of the consignment at this point and the actual items that were taken are something he only realized at the point where CoffeeZilla essentially came into this. But he's being absolutely obtuse, and he's not being forthright with the information that he was promising, which is, I think, is a big problem, because he says multiple times in this, like dozens of times, just send us, we'll send you the information, we'll send you the spreadsheets, we'll send you this, we'll send you. He never does. He never ponies up and delivers on it. So he's being very dishonest. And I think it's because of a loyalty thing. He's just being loyal to his boy. But I really think that up until like maybe part 2 of this documentary, Amon thought they were in the right. And I think that's the point where he's like, oh, wait a minute, I fucked up big time and I got screwed by my boys here. And again, that's his fault for having shit-tasted friends and stuff. And whatever, it is what it is. But I think that that's the point when he's like, oh, I'm just fucked now. I'm just fucked. What do I do? And he just can't take the L. Just pay $200,000 out of pocket, make this all go away, and potentially save millions and millions of dollars in your company's future.
She took Mr. Mansell's Lego, sold it, didn't pay him. She has his money. But she sold his Lego. She has his money.
To make it easier for you guys to understand the CEO's argument, we're going to demonstrate his argument with a little skit.
Oh, that was the backflip. No. Are you sure? You have a misunderstanding of what happened.
Yes, this is the exact argument the CEO is trying to make. Something we just saw in video, the CEO is saying never happened, which would mean the CEO is lying. And most people would agree that lying is morally wrong. However, if
not necessarily. If a woman comes up to you and asks you, does her ass look fat in that dress? It's not morally wrong to lie to her there. A little white lie. That's fine.
You lie about a crime.
But these lies, obviously, I do believe are morally reprehensible.
The way Eamon's lying to me right now, and that's not just morally wrong anymore. That crosses into new territory called illegal. The specific crime is called obstruction. If someone
this part here, I think that Ben is completely off his rocker kind of here. As a citizen, you can't just charge people with obstruction. Typically, it's like obstruction of justice, but I guess it can apply to other things as well. I mean, maybe you need to get a lawyer to comment on this in particular. This seems like a really silly angle to go at Amon for. Essentially, what they're doing here is they're collecting all this information, claiming he's committing obstruction, and then mailing it to the police and asking them to charge him with a crime. This is a criminal thing. You can't just tell the police to go do the work for you, right? That's not how it works. Now, it does seem like the police were working for Amon for some reason, but that's just unfortunate. That's just corruption that was being exposed. But this seems like a really weird thing and a very strange angle. I guess he had to try something.
This crime, they can get arrested. We're at the police station, and we're going to charge them with.
Yeah, I don't think obstruction applies here at all either. I'm trying to this seems like rock law. If I'm being honest, it seems like rock. Did this man commit a crime? What can I charge him with? And it's like, oh, great question. In fact, yeah, he committed obstruction. You could get him for that. I don't see it. Is he obstructing their ability to get the Legos back? Yes, but criminal obstruction, I don't think so. It just sounds. It's a very weird tangent. It's almost like a filler arc where they go through this part here. But I mean, it's kind of entertaining.
Criminal crime, obstructing of evidence of a $200,000 theft. And good news for us, we found out last week that all of the police in Utah take obstruction very seriously here. The police.
Yeah, but that's obstruction of justice. I mean, I'm not trying to stand by the Utah police here at all, or the Utah police, or whatever you want to call them. But obstruction against an officer is a very different thing between two people.
Arrested my friend Sheldon for obstruction just for locking his phone.
Right now you're attempting to destroy evidence. Okay, put your hands behind your back. I was just locking my phone.
You're under arrest for obstruction of evidence right now.
The crazy part is the police didn't even have a warrant, so Sheldon locking his phone was 100% legal. But the police arrested him anyways because that's literally.
I mean, this is exactly right. People don't charge others with crimes. You report crimes, police charge people. The police have the discretion, the sole discretion of whether they go after these crimes as well.
How serious the police take obstruction crimes here. They do not mess around when it comes to obstruction. So now, just imagine how angry the police are going to be when I go into the police station and tell them that someone is actually, for real this time, committing an obstruction crime. And this obstruction crime is on a much bigger scale. Later, the police called me saying that they were going to do a police investigation on this.
Hey, Benjamin, this is Officer Halpern from Provo Police.
I told the detective the entire situation.
He was saying that this family's Lego sets were never even in the store, all of this stuff. And it's all documented. I have video of all of him saying this. I think he's falsifying evidence, and I think that's obstruction.
And now that we stole Bricks and Minifigs' strategy, I think the plan is finally going to work.
Looks like the CEO is going down.
I mean, I submitted the videos of Amon saying we're going to burn down the building and shoot him.
They themselves say, hey, you guys stole this product from this person. If you don't give it back, I'm going to burn the place down. Or we're going to burn the place down. Or I'll kill you.
And then I submitted all the raw footage of the entire conversation I had with him, proving to the police that we never even said anything close to this. This raw footage verifies that everything I told the police is true, and everything Amon told the police is a lie. On top of that, I even got access to the complete case Amon made against me, and he doesn't have a single piece of evidence to support any of his claims.
You're live streaming part 3 from Patreon. No, I'm not. This is from YouTube.
Which I guess makes sense. Like, how can you support evidence if you're just making everything up? Like, of course you can't submit anything.
So if the police have to decide what case to pursue, they're obviously going to pursue this case because it has like a ton of evidence. And then they're going to...
Well, like, again, we'll go, now that we've got to this part. This is a very fun little graphic you've got here. Ben's evidence, I've got everything. Amon's evidence, he's got nothing. He's drawn his opponent as a silly character. It's over. But these are two very different things. Because the police are absolutely going to go for the one what they think is harassment, because that's like much more straightforward. And again, like I'm pretty sure that I just don't know, but I don't think that obstruction applies to Ben versus Amon at all. I can understand that he is like in the use of the word obstruction, sure, but like the illegal distance, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. Now, could the police come after, could do an investigation? Sure, they could. I just don't think they would.
Throw out Amon's case. It has no evidence at all.
The person you're trying to reach is not available.
Hello, my name is Ben Schneider. A couple months ago, I made a case, and you were the officer that was helping me create it. I submitted a bunch of evidence through a link you sent me, and this was a couple months ago, and I haven't heard anything back. And so I'm just calling to see if I can get some type of update on how the case is going. It's about the CEO, Eamon McNeff of Bricks and Minifigs. And
again, this is like very fun little like, you know, documentary work and everything, but there's no way they would answer this question.
Obstruction case. And so
it's like, it's almost purely performative.
Give me a call back at your earliest convenience. That'd be awesome.
Gideon's case is a bigger mess. Who's Gideon? I don't think I've heard anything about that.
You're sorry. Your call cannot be completed.
Yeah, literally no matter what I tried, I could not get a hold of this police officer. So I'm traveling all the way back to Utah to go back to the Provo police station in person to see how the police investigation against Amon is going. And I just so happened to get a hold of the police schedule and arrived at the exact time this officer was supposed to arrive. But before I could speak to this officer, one of the other police officers called into the front desk and asked to talk to me.
I'm not seeing him on duty right now.
Really? They said he was going to be here today at 3 o'clock.
I'm sorry. I know I've mentioned this many times. What the fuck is with this timestamp? It's clearly not 11:25 at night. All right. There's like, just blur this out. Like, if you can't figure out how to program the time on your Amazon spyglass, is fine. But just blur this out. Put a Gaussian blur on there or something. Like, this editing mistake really triggered me because I thought this case had been going on for 6 years because I was like, oh, it's a timestamp. Of course it's accurate, which is a silly thing to assume, I know. But it makes me very upset, okay?
There's always the chance.
Maybe there's different time in Utah. Okay, my mistake. I guess I was wrong.
They might have called out sick or something.
Is there any way that you can like check?
Yeah, exactly. Because all these little details, they might seem inconsequential to the larger picture, but it does add up, and it is important. Because when you see a timestamp, people take that as this is the time it happened, and you can use that to establish the timeline of events in order, which is very important for the understanding any situation. It's just really annoying because a lot of these clips are edited out of their actual chronological order, but then you also have these fake timestamps that just don't mean anything, which make it basically impossible to figure out when any of this happened, except for listening to what Ben says. It's Utah Mormon time, UMT. Okay, that makes sense.
Here.
He's definitely scheduled to be here. Like I said, they might have called out sick or something.
Did you miss the brick drumming? No, you just got here.
Are you able to look and see how the case is going? All I really want is kind of just an update on the case.
Exactly, they're reckless timestamps.
Over the phone?
Okay, you can't even just tell me like how it's going, like if he's still looking into it, or?
No, I can't. That's not something I can do.
Okay, well, thank you.
So basically, I came all the way out here to find 0 answers, but eventually I did find an answer. They sent it to me in the mail, and looks like I was right. The police only had time to take on one of our cases, and it was Amon's, not mine.
Yeah, because that would be a criminal complaint. Surely.
The case that had an
it's literally a criminal complaint here.
And it was Amon's.
Extortion, reported offense code, extortion and disorderly conduct. Of course, the police were going to go for that. Like, obviously, Ben does have a mountain of evidence. So if you're looking in the people's court, of course, the Bricks and Minifigures are guilty. But like, obviously, this is going to happen.
Not mine. Yes, the case that had an overwhelming amount of evidence, they thought that case was garbage. And they took on the case that has 0 evidence at all.
This is very funny, by the way.
In the police body cam footage, after the police watched my full conversation, proving that I didn't threaten to burn the place down or literally anything, they even admitted to Eamon that there was no credibility with his entire case against me.
We agreed that there really was no extortion code that would fit your situation.
This is a wild body cam, by the way. See, at least the police body cams actually have like proper dates on them. So this happened last year, not like 3 years ago, as Ben's timestamps would have you believe. But what she admits here is kind of fucking wild.
However, you know, at the end of the day, we do want to help you guys, you know, having to deal with this fool and all of his issues. We did find that there was another code that fit, and it's called aggravated commercial obstruction.
So the police are literally doing their homework for the Bricks and Minifigures. They're like, well, we couldn't find anything for extortion, but you could try this one. We looked this up in these ancient law textbooks, and we just did everything for you. Like, how very nice. Like, when you need the police to help you, they're not bending over backwards and looking through all their like deepest lore and stuff, looking for ways. They're just like, you know what, we love the Bricks and Minifigures. We're just going to help you out. That's fucking wild that the police actually released this at all.
The police just told Eamon that even though there's absolutely nothing to his claim against me, if they work together, maybe they can fabricate some type of charge against me.
However, the tricky thing is that we have to prove that this
individual. Like, can the cops just give you tips on how to charge people? Aren't they supposed to be like, I mean, obviously they're not, but aren't they supposed to have a unbiased point of view in these legal dealings? But they're like going out of their way, bending over backwards. They're like, all right, look, you came to us with a criminal complaint. It's no good. However, I found this for you, but I need you to, any way you can make this way? Like, it's like this negotiation of the law. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This is why the American Police Department has to pay.
Or remains unlawfully on the premise. When he came to the property, did you have to ask him more than once to leave?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, we're not leaving until we get it. And he's like, no. Like,
so Eamon's telling the police that even though they continuously told us to leave, we didn't leave. But if we go back and look at the footage of what happened, this is the reality.
So when they say go to corporate, how do we respond next time? I have no idea. You have to take it up with them. It's your thing with them. That doesn't involve us. Okay. As a separate business entity, you got to take it up with them. You got to resolve it with them. Okay, well, thanks so much, guys. Okay, guys. Good luck. Sweet, thank you. Hey, they're on their way out. You want me to grab them or not?
I don't know. It kind of looks like the reality of what happened is we left too early for them. They wanted to pull us back in to keep talking to us. But we did show back up a second time. And to Eamon's credit, about halfway through the conversation, he did say that if we don't leave, he's going to call the cops on us.
Now we're 3 years back in the past. It's very confusing. Now, I think any good faith interpretation of this discussion, Ben was acting in the right here. Like, Ammon does ask him to leave at this point. However, then Ben says something and then he asks another question. So any normal person would take that to mean like, okay, you can keep talking because the conversation's continuing. And at the point where he finally does say you've been asked to leave, that's when Ben does leave. I don't think anyone would look at this situation and think that Ben was actually harassing him here. He is trying to extort him. So I guess it is kind of harassment, but you know what I mean? Like, at any time, Ammon could have ended this situation. At any time, he could have gone inside. At any time, he could have just ended the conversation and actually just stopped talking to Ben, and Ben would have left. So it's so slimy of him to say that, like, no, I asked them to leave. They said they were going to kill me. They said they're going to burn. Like, it's just bullshit. Manny gifted 500 kicks. He says, did you get the jewels I sent you on YouTube? I think I did, but like the thing with jewels is they don't stay on my back end, so I can't see them. So if I can only watch either Kick or YouTube at once at a time. So with YouTube, if it's like a mobile jewel, I don't really see them very often, unless I'm like eagle-eyed watching the YouTube dashboard, which typically I'm not. So I probably got them. I just didn't see them, and there's no way for me to check, unfortunately. Well, maybe there is. I'd have to look through the different tabs on YouTube.
Leave. If you come back here, we will call the cops. If you don't leave right now, I will call the cops.
So you don't want to do the easy way?
And this is right after I told him you could do it either the easy way and just give us the Legos back, or we can do it the hard way, implying that we would take him to court.
So you're threatening me.
I mean, this is literally a threat, though. Like, yes, he is threatening him. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. What's the hard way? We're going to try and expose your company and destroy everything, which they effectively have done.
We're right. Like, we have a right to the Legos, so we're going to get them the easy way or the hard way.
What proof of ownership have you provided to me?
And like, by Ammon continuing the conversation here, I think the any good faith interpretation of this is that means you're allowed to stay until this conversation is finished.
That you own this Lego.
I mean, I can give you proof if you want.
Right, provide proof.
But right after he says this, he's now asking us to.
A threat is not a crime? Yes, it is. I mean, it can be. Suck my dick or I'm going to shoot you. Hey, a threat is not a crime. Yes, it is. What are you talking about?
Provide him proof that we actually are entitled to these Legos.
I mean, it's literally extortion. Blackmail. It's a crime. It's a threat.
We can't leave now because he just told us.
Like an actionable threat. Like if you're just saying like, oh, I'm gonna inflate you with helium and you're gonna drift into the sun. Like, no, obviously that's not a crime. It's because it's hyperbulous or anything. But yes, threats can absolutely be crimes.
To stay and provide proof. And then at the very end of the conversation, he says this one more time.
Okay, you've been asked to leave. Please leave.
You have to leave?
Why to go to the ad example? The one about the inflation or the one about raping people? I assume the one about the rape.
Okay. Well, thank you for working with us, and so see you later.
Well, we have now all just seen the video footage of what actually happened. But now let's hear how Ammon describes it to the police.
Guys, at this point, I've asked you to leave. Please leave. Well, you have to.
He threatened legal action. That's not a crime. I don't think he did. I think he threatened to expose and destroy their company.
Listen to us. You have to pay us this money. No, guys, you need to leave, and you're not leaving. But I asked multiple times. They did not leave.
Looks like that might be a second-degree felony. He's facing felony charges. It is a felony?
Yes, because I went to the corporate headquarters and tried to give Ammon the easy way out of all of this.
He just said it. It's the implication, okay? You got to read between the lines here.
They're now trying to get me on a second-degree felony, which I don't really know how any of this would make me get a second-degree felony. Like, what the heck, police officers? But they're doing it, and the punishment for this crime is 15 years in jail.
I don't know, like however else, like some of that stuff comes through, but like the reality is like we've tried to talk with him and said, we're willing to work with you.
I think one of the main reasons the police keep taking Ammon's side instead of ours, besides the whole Mormon thing, is that Ammon keeps framing the situation as he's just the helpful CEO who's trying to do the right thing and return Brian's property. And we're the ones that are preventing him from giving it back to Brian. So I say we rewatch the footage and see what actually happened.
We said we would be more than happy to help Mr. Mansell.
Yeah, because Brian said
he was unwilling to work with us.
Well, Brian said he asked for the store inventory, and because he said like he wanted to work with you, and then you guys didn't provide the store inventory.
We asked him to provide us with any documentation, and he provided us with a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is not something that anybody, you can just walk over to a McDonald's.
And like the problem here is that what is the standard of evidence that Ammon wants? Like it isn't just a spreadsheet. It's a manifest. It's a record. It's a list of everything that he submitted to the store. It should be very well enough to at least get an investigation started. And this is one thing I think that it would have been better if Bennett actually asked is like, what would you accept as proof? Photos? Video recordings? Sale receipts? Like, what do you want?
Now and say, all your ice cream machines belong to me. Why? Because so-and-so said so. Why can I have a spreadsheet?
Chat, all of your ice cream, I have a spreadsheet that shows that all of your ice cream machines don't belong to me now. Not that I need them.
It says that all these ice cream machines belong to me. That's not proof of ownership. That's not proof of anything.
So first off, this spreadsheet Ammon's referring to wasn't just some mystery spreadsheet. It was the actual inventory the store made. But I guess Ammon's trying to claim that the previous owner stole the Legos and then lied on the inventory, and so now it basically makes this inventory invalid. He said that when corporate was taking over the store, that they actually did their own inventory, and this is the correct inventory.
When we took over, we did an inventory.
And good news for me, he's willing to give me this inventory. He's actually always been willing to give it to me or Brian. All we've ever had to do was ask.
This is one of the most frustrating parts about this entire thing, is that Ammon says this all the time, but then he hasn't shown anyone. Except CoffeeZilla, who I think he just had his feet were being held to the flames there or something.
Work with you to obtain any Lego that does exist.
Well, we did that, and you guys.
When?
I think like 5 or 6 times, and we've gotten 0 response back.
Yeah, literally the first thing I did right when I heard about this entire situation was I googled Bricks and Minifigs, clicked on their website, clicked contact us, and sent them a message. I actually got a message back from corporate saying that they would love to help, but after a few months, I kept trying to reply to this message, and they just completely ghosted me.
I think we've done like 6 over the last 4 or 5 months.
Find out. Tell me when.
Let's see.
And again, this makes Ammon look like such a fucking fool, because he actually has the receipts on this. Is that, well, I emailed through your contact support number. And you can actually see him he's going to start molding in a second. And he's like, well, that's not my personal email. What do you mean?
I say like, hey, I don't think this ever got resolved. I'm just reaching back out right now. And then never.
Hit forward right now. Resend it.
What's the email?
That is I don't know what email address that is. That's
his company's email. I don't know. Like, if you're a low-level employee or something, sure, whatever. But like, no, you're the CEO. You don't know your company's website, email, contact address. Like, what are you talking about?
That says fbc.team. I said franchise at bricksandminifigs.com.
When did he say that? Like, this is the first time I've heard it. Now, maybe it was edited out earlier. I don't think so.
This is just on the website, so.
Did I tell you to look up something on the website and send it there?
Well,
did I say that? Just barely.
Well, that's why.
Yes or no? Did I say that?
No.
I just said, send me an email to franchise at bricksandminifigs.com and we will work with that.
But you're getting mad at me because I emailed the email on the website?
It's so funny how mad people get when you just state that they're getting mad. Like, the only time, I think, like, realistically, the only time you should use that phrase is when you're actually trying to make people, like, seethe and rage and mold, because that's what it does straight away. You're getting mad about this. No, I'm not.
Keep saying that you're, like, so I understand that, but I'm telling you right now, and you're trying to argue on something that I didn't give you any information about. I'm telling you, send it to that one.
Yeah, you're like getting upset at us that we emailed the email that was on your website.
I mean, do you guys think, like, press a 1 if you think that Ben is trying to stoke the flames here, or he's just, like, being honest? I can't tell, honestly, although I think I would have to assume that Ben is trying to, like, poke the bear a little bit here. You seem like you're very upset. You seem you're hot under the collars. Like, you seem to be getting mad. You're getting zesty. Exactly. I think he's doing this on purpose. A little bit of A, a little bit of column B. Maybe.
No, I'm telling you the way to do this.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
You've been probably trying to communicate with a ghost.
Well, that's your guys' fault for putting that email on the website.
Sure. Okay.
Ben, so why are you getting mad at us? Because we emailed the website for your instructions.
You harass us for all sorts of things. I'm not getting mad at you.
We're not harassing. We're just asking for our language
clearly
back.
Is mad, though.
If someone stole money from you and you went and politely asked for the money back, is that you harassing them?
It seems like Ammon kept either trying.
I don't think Ben does anything with malice. I think he's ultra autistic. I'm not sure if he's autistic, but he's definitely content brained.
Stall.
That's essentially autism.
Switch the subject. It almost seems like he doesn't want to actually give us this inventory, but he keeps saying he's willing to give it to us.
I'll be honest. I think that Ben is actually a nice guy, and I think that he does use a lot of honesty. Although I don't think he understands all the social situations as well as he could, perhaps. I don't think that's autism, though, to be fair.
Send that inventory list to us?
I do believe so, yes. I think we have sent that to Brian.
He says he said that's all he wants is the inventory list, and he'll stop, like, bugging you guys.
Well, then, Mr. Mansell and you, and if you want to be included on the emails with Mr. Mansell, that's totally fine. You guys can email us, and we can go
But
back.
you guys will give him the inventory list? Because he said he's been asking for it for over a year now.
We can show the inventory list that was obtained when the store was originally taken over from Crystal Law, and we can work through that process and try and identify what...
And this is so stupid that they got this on camera. By the way, this mustache is so diabolical. I'm not sure you want to have the evil devil mustache if you're, like, running this company when you're doing these bad things. But he said this repeatedly, and he hasn't sent out this document once. I think the first time anybody saw it was after the court cases were filed and after CoffeeZilla got wormed it out of them somehow.
Or wasn't there, and also try and identify how to proceed from there.
Yeah, I think Brian gets upset because he says they always say it, they'll send me the list, kind of like how you're saying, oh, we can send it easily. But then when it comes down to it, you'll never actually send it. So maybe if you actually go ahead and send it, it would make him feel better.
Well, I understand what you're trying to get at. I'm more than willing to work with you and help you. That's what I'm saying. Send an email to that email address that I just gave to you, and that will produce results.
Anyways, I sent an email to the email he told me about, not the one on their website. That's a bad email.
Hold on.
Will produce results.
Anyways, I sent...
All right. Hello, I spoke to you yesterday at Bricks and Minifigs corporate headquarters, and the man that said he'd be happy to email myself and Brian Mansell the inventory list was taken after the Kaiser Bricks and Minifigs store was seized. I think that's all Brian wanted all along. If you could please reply with the inventory list attached, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, Ben. All right, I mean, that's a fairly professional, like, polite email. I don't see any reason why Bricks and Minifigs wouldn't respond to this since they promised they would.
An email to the email he told me about, not the one on their website. That's a bad email. Don't ever email that one or the CEO is going to be pissed. But according to Ammon, now that I've sent this email, I should be receiving the inventory list very soon. So I waited all day and I got no answer. So the next day I sent them another email. I patiently waited again for about a week. And finally,
this is the response. Mr. Schneider, BAM Franchising Incorporation will not participate in any form of communication that appears designed for public provocation, harassment, or manipulation of facts for the purpose of media content.
All right, so this must have wait, actually, can we see the date on this? Let's go back a second. Why is the date obscured?
Harassment or manipulation.
Because this is filmed, I assume this is filmed in Mexico. And like, I assume this is also filmed after part 1 and 2 had been, or at least part 1 or part 2 has been released, because they're talking about the, production of a YouTube video. I'm sorry, but you don't get to just make a promise to deliver on something, the manifest, to prove that you had not stolen all of this man's materials, and then you can't just say, well, you're going to make a YouTube video about it, so I'm not going to send it to you now. That's not how it works.
The facts for the purpose of media content. Attempts to obtain privileged or confidential information through misrepresentation or the creation of fraudulent documents. Just for me asking for
Again, I would love to see the date on this, and I feel like that's a mistake that Ben's making in these, but it's fine.
Inventory list to prove their innocence, because I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to be like, hey, if you're innocent, I want to prove that you're innocent with this inventory list. But now, by me trying to do that, that's criminal behavior on my part.
And considered harassment. And we reserve all rights to refer such behavior to appropriate legal authorities, aka the cops.
So don't ask for our inventory list, or else.
That's clearly Mexico. I would assume it's Mexico, but I don't know. There's plenty of Mexican places in America. Like, isn't California all look like this as well?
We're gonna call the cops.
Yes, Bricks and Minifigs has officially banned me from ever asking for this inventory list again. And I'm not the only one who's banned from asking for this list.
He promised us a full inventory right away. We've never received it.
Yeah, and every time it's been...
Sign in Spanish? Yeah, that's America. Doesn't help. No sepia filter? Well, that's what's confusing me. It's not piss yellow.
Absolutely nothing. So we've never gotten anything. We've never gotten an inventory list.
Yeah, the previous owner who got her entire store stolen from her by corporate, I mean, she's legally required to get sent an inventory list, and even she, 2 years later, has not gotten it yet.
It would have resolved everything, because they would have had to identify everything in the store, and it would have identified all of Brian's stuff, and they never provided it, so we couldn't then demand the third-party evaluation.
And it's now, what, a year and a half later?
Who knows?
One thing I haven't seen show up in any of, maybe it did. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm actually curious now. Because corporate Bricks and Minifigs have claimed that Crystal stole all the money. I would like to see that. I think CoffeeZilla did ask Crystal about this, like saying, did you have the Legos or did you have the money or things like that? And I think they said no. I would like to see this in Ben's video, because this is a very big question, is that if so much of this collection, approximately maybe $50,000 to $60,000 of it was sold during this last month, where was the money? Was it in the corporate bank account? Was it in the store bank account? Was it in the Crystal bank account? How does she manage her money? I need to know this question. And it'd be so simple to just put in here, saying corporate said that you stole the money. Did you? And then just say no. And be okay, well, that clears that up. I mean, obviously she could be lying about it, but it'd be very nice to have this here. And I think it's a detail that's been missed.
Still no inventory.
Dang.
So would have solved a lot of problems a year and a half ago to go, here's the inventory.
And even Brian still hasn't received this inventory list yet.
I've never received an inventory list. I've never received a record of sales because they can't provide it. They opened the store up almost right away and started selling it.
And the worst part about all of this is it seems like the CEO is pretty much just trying to rub all of this in everyone's face. When I turned on the news, I saw this.
As far as offering Brian the inventory, have you gone through the store, figured out what...
This was a very strange interview. Because they've got some teenager here. This guy looks like he's an unpaid intern working for Fox Live Zone. I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong about this? It looks like this is a kid that just pulled off the street. Maybe this is part of their youth outreach program or something. They certainly weren't sending their big guns into this interview.
Was part of his collection taken inventory and shown him that inventory to offer that?
We've tried to share those with Mr. Mansell in hopes that he can see, that we were not attempting in any way, shape, or form to withhold anything. Those then were offered to him, and the initial offer was rejected.
So now on public television, Ammon, the CEO, is telling the world that he tried to give us this inventory, but we're the ones that didn't want it.
We do want to help him recover as much of the collection. Our number one priority right now is to ensure that he gets made whole. We know that we have a responsibility to work with him to make sure he does get made whole.
So you've offered Brian the inventory of sets that was in the store.
Yeah, what
kind of I mean, he's even using a Rode wireless lav mic. You'd think that they'd have a boom mic in a Fox studio. Is this actually this guy's bedroom or something? Is this a real Fox interview? I didn't see it already, but you know what I mean?
Whatever was left over, we've offered that on multiple occasions. So we've tried to make
it's like
multiple
the sound
offers,
guys
and
doing the interview.
Hopefully we'll be able to get them to the table so we can discuss it.
And this is pretty much Ammon's game plan now. Go on as many news stations as you can and lie.
The entire time we were saying, hey, we want to help, we want to help.
The main narrative now seems to be Bricks and Minifigs has always been trying to give Brian his Legos back, but Brian just never wanted them back.
Would you be willing to just take this? And the answer was no. It was attempted to be given to the family.
No, of course you shouldn't take this. What, do you want to take this $5,000 worth of Lego when we owe you $100,000? No, you don't take that, because if you take it, then they say, well, now you've been made whole. Now that you've accepted this deal, you took this merchandise, you agreed to this thing. Of course you wouldn't take that.
And it was refused. They made the offer and said, hey, you can have all this. And that offer was not accepted at the time.
Well, that's Ammon's side of the story, but I say let's take a look at what actually happened.
Read from the bottom up. That is our correspondence with Bricks and Minifigs, trying to work with them and getting the sets back.
So right when this happened, Brian hired an attorney to reach out to Bricks and Minifigs. They sent an email saying, how should we proceed to retake the possession of the set/minifigures? And they actually emailed back saying they were willing to help. And then after this, they just never respond. So Brian's attorney sent them another email, just following up on this, when can we pick up the sets? And they still didn't respond. So the attorneys emailed back saying, it's now been 16 days. How can we get these Legos back? And finally, they received a response.
It says Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson have no legal obligation to return any of the Lego product that exists in their store to you. What? So yeah, basically they're saying that they're the ones that are not able to work with you, is what it seems like.
Exactly.
They finished this email saying, we consider this matter closed and will not be returning any Lego products to you.
That's a bit of a... It's not how it works. If I get sent a fucking bill, it's like, no, I consider this matter closed. I will not be sending you any money. No.
So as you can see, that's the reality of what actually happened. But then Ammon goes on Fox News and says this.
So they actually did have an attorney send information to us. We said, great, appreciate this. Let's see what we can do to work this out. Yeah. And then we never heard back.
So why is Ammon going on like Fox News then and saying
they stole it on paper? Unbreaded? No, sorry, I apologize for that reference. I mean, no, they just straight up took the stuff though. Because it wasn't they took it out of the franchise. I mean, that's the implication anyway with the U-Haul truck. And that seems to be what people have reported to CoffeeZilla. Like actual in-store employees. They just straight up enrich their own previously owned franchises with the inventory from this store in Salem. It's robbery.
Wanted to give Brian his stuff back. He's the one that didn't want his stuff back. He didn't want any of his things.
That's my point. I don't know. He's lying.
I truly do believe in integrity. Truly, I believe in the sentiment of integrity, and I believe everyone should have integrity.
But anyways, another thing the CEO seems to be pretty upset about is that when Brian kept demanding his stuff back and couldn't get it back, eventually he had enough. And he was like, I'm going to make a Facebook post about this. And in his Facebook post, he called Bricks and Minifigs thieves and liars. And this Facebook post, like, really pissed off Ammon. I mean, Bricks and Minifigs is literally suing Brian now for millions of dollars, all because of this. I mean, back when I was talking to him at corporate headquarters, he made it...
That mustache screams integrity. What's the thought process you go through when you go for the devil mustache and like goatee combination? Like, has he always had this mustache since he was a young lad or something? Or like, was this a recent change? It's a very unique look. It makes me wonder.
Very clear that what they did is technically not actually considered theft.
There is no theft. Do you understand the legal definition of theft? Legally have to be the definition of knowing that the property was stolen or otherwise not belonging to that person.
And on my phone,
I don't think that necessarily is true. You don't need to be in knowledge of a crime to commit a crime, right? I mean, maybe this is the legal definition. I don't think so. That doesn't sound right to me at all. Like if I just wander up and I find something on the ground, I just can't pick it up, walk away with it. I don't know. I don't know it was theft. What do you mean? I don't think so. I'm actually, yeah. Ignorance is certainly not a defensive in a crime, but like, is it the legal definition of theft? I'm not sure. Like, is it like a annoying little thing, like the difference between murder and manslaughter or something? Is what I'm wondering.
Not known until Mr. Mansell came in days later and said, I have some of these things that need to be...
That's another lie again, because...
It's not another lie.
So I showed Ammon this...
Once you're alerted to the fact of the ownership dispute, it is still theft. Well, yeah, that's the thing, is they didn't know about it after the state.
Security camera footage where corporate acknowledges that they are now going to be responsible for these Lego Star Wars sets.
These are ones that he has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
This line is really annoying by Crystal, when she says, if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him. This really is very, very frustrating, because that makes it sound like Crystal has to pay Brian personally from her own expenses or something. But that doesn't make any sense, because she's not going to have the Legos anymore, so how would she be able to get the price for them? I wish she didn't say this, but I guess it is what it is. I mean, maybe she just misspoke or something. That happens all the time, right?
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours. He's taking on the business, he takes on all that kind of stuff.
And after showing him this footage to try to bring the conversation back to reality, this was his response.
Extortion?
Because we caught you guys?
No, because you are attempting to extort us, so that's what you're doing. What you are doing right now is illegal. It's an extortion.
So catching you guys in illegal activity, that's illegal on me.
No. We have done nothing.
See, I agree too. I agree. Nope, it's not illegal on us. Thank you for.
We have done nothing illegal, and you are doing something illegal right now.
I don't think it's illegal. I think us catching you guys for doing the illegal thing doesn't make.
It's likely that the Gormans mixed their personal funds with the store funds. Yeah, I kind of have a theory that they may have done that as well, which is a really shitty thing to do. It's just not a good move as a business owner, but then a lot of business owners do it. It's much more common than you think. And was she doing something sneaky, like, I don't know, paying off her loan with store credit and then putting it back in later, you know, something like that? I don't know. I wish this detail had been like brought up by, maybe Ben did and he decided not to include it because, not that I'm saying he's trying to be duplicitous, but maybe it just doesn't look good to have this like multi-angles, like people asking questions, because all the focus has to be focused on the Lego company, perhaps. Maybe that's his thing, but like, I would have loved if Ben had just said to Crystal in this video specifically, they're claiming you took the Legos, they're claiming you took the money. What do you say to that? Did you ever mix these funds? Like, I wish that was just clear. It'd be so easy to clear up if there was a simple answer to. I mean, if it was cut for pacing, I feel like it's a big mistake.
That what we're doing is legal. That means
the Gormans seem super sus. Yeah, I have a lot of problems with the Gormans. But at the moment, I'm thinking that maybe they're just very bad business managers. At least that's my hope.
What you guys are doing is illegal.
Okay, you've been asked to leave. Please leave.
You have to leave?
They're dumb and they should have put everything on paper. I think they did have it on paper, at least on store records. But what they're claiming is that, oh, I see what you're saying. You mean like physically a paper copy that they could take home or have a copy at their home rather than the store accounting system they lost access to after the store was taken over? Okay. I assume that's what you mean by that.
Well, thank you for working with us. And
after just going around in circles for probably 30 to 40 minutes and just, you know, having like kind of less than genuine questions or less than genuine responses being given to me, you know, I was exasperated by the end of it. And that's, you know, like when people get tired and exasperated, that's when like, we finally got the footage that we can use to make him look like a completely unreasonable monster, you know, like, so, but that's what they do is, you know, people whose goal is to do those types of things.
They're clip farming me. They're clip farming me. You consented to this conversation. Like, you should have realized that you should have just said, like, what you should have done is come out and say, look, I'm the CEO. I haven't seen any of the complaints in force. Send it to my direct email and I'll follow up with email. And then at that point, you just leave. Like, he has nothing to gain, clearly because they were also recording. Now, maybe he didn't realize he was being secretly recorded or something. Maybe Utah's a one-party consent state. I'm not sure. But I think he should have been under the assumption that he was being recorded. And even if you're not being recorded, just like, it's very basic conflict de-escalation. It's a big move, a big bad move by him.
They just harass and go after people as long and hard as they can until somebody breaks and says something that, you know, then they can, you know, use that one clip to be like, oh, look at this horrible monster of a person. So that's what I feel like has kind of really happened here.
So Ammon's claiming that I just harassed him for 30 minutes and finally he got fed up with us, which that was the one clip at the end that I used in my documentary. So I say let's go to the very beginning of the footage, my first interaction with them, and see what actually happened.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not? Yeah, literally from the very first sentence we ever exchanged with each other, Ammon's goal was just to lie to us. But anyways, I'm now starting to think that the only reason Ammon wanted us to email him about the inventory list wasn't actually give us the inventory list, but actually it was a trap. Yeah, Ammon only wanted me to email him so he can find out my email and subpoena Google and find out all of my private information. You think I'm lying, but
The diabolical clip there, licking the mustache.
They actually did this. They subpoenaed Google asking for all private information tied to this email address. And Google sent them like hundreds of hours of all the raw footage from everything I've filmed in the Lego video so far. All my emails, all my search history, all the metadata that shows everywhere I've been.
No, not the gooning history.
But anyways, this was the reaction of the police officer.
That's pretty wild. That seemed like it was pretty easy. I thought, like, hasn't the lawsuit just begun? Wouldn't this have to wait until the discovery stage? This seems like Google really ponied up with this information very quickly.
She watched my entire first episode.
I'm really curious to see, like, if this school even makes any money doing this YouTube.
Like, they got a lot of fucking shit out of there, right? Like, I don't know. Ben's private information.
Hundreds of hours of all the raw footage from everything I've filmed in the Lego video so far. All my emails,
all of his fucking emails? Like, this is not a good advertisement for Gmail.
Search history, all the metadata.
I want to go through and see what some of these say. I guess these all just say Ben Schneider's Gmail account. Yeah, this just looks like a complete list of his emails.
All the metadata that shows
timeline records, export.
Everywhere I've been.
What we got here? Information contained alongside the file with the zip logo, a summary, originating identifier, result. Okay, so that's just IP stuff and things like that.
But anyways, this was the reaction of the police officer after she watched my entire first episode.
I'm really curious to see like if this school even makes any money doing this YouTube stuff. I'm like, if it's enough for him to travel.
This is such a boomer moment. Do YouTubers make money? Question mark. He can afford to travel? That doesn't seem right. I mean, she's right though. Like, YouTubers should not be allowed to afford to travel. They deserve nothing, right? They deserve nothing. They should just be like slaves in the content mines, 14 hours a day. That's better than they deserve.
To another state just to go get some footage. It doesn't even sound like his like secret information doesn't even seem credible from my understanding.
No, so
this is Amon.
Sounds like you were able to watch the video.
I think by secret information, the police officer is referring to the security camera footage that proves that everything Bricks and Minifigs is saying is a lie. My first question is, how could this not be credible? It's literally just video evidence of what happened that night. But at least now I can see why the police aren't listening to me. They're basically just saying that all of the evidence I submit to them is not credible and therefore case closed. Ben's wrong and we're right because we said that the evidence is uncredible. At this point, Bricks and Minifigs is working with the police to just come up with whatever story they can to make any evidence I give them.
It seems like this bitch in particular really doesn't like Ben.
Seem as uncredible as possible.
In all of his actions to just generate clicks and likes to get, like social media clout without putting in work and just doing the crummy stuff.
Interesting.
He seems like a fun gentleman.
No. Well, and
his MO really seems to follow somebody who's like a paper tiger, right? Like who like behind, or like a keyboard warrior. They'll make threats.
And this is the craziest part of the video to me. Ammon's claiming that I'm a keyboard warrior. And
He's an SJW woke liberal keyboard warrior paper tiger coming off my coffee cup. My Lego company is under attack by the keyboard warrior woke leftist woke mob.
Keyboard warrior is basically just someone who talks a lot of smack online, but then when it actually comes down to it, they won't do anything in person. Which, I mean, if we look back at the footage, I accomplished almost everything I set out to do. I didn't get scared of anything.
Has she met him? I don't know. They kind of seem very friendly, don't they?
If someone in this story is a keyboard warrior, I don't think it's me. I think it's Bricks and Minifigs. I mean, let's double check by looking at the footage. Ammon claims with his words that he can give us the inventory list.
We can show the inventory list.
But when it actually comes down to it, he's terrified to give it to anyone. Bricks and Minifigs this entire time has also just been begging me to sue them.
I'm not sure this worked out very well for Mr. Joshua.
So when I finally go out and actually sue them, they close down their store. And now Bricks and Minifigs is going to absolute extreme lengths to hide from this lawsuit.
Are you okay if she just gives you the papers so we can just...
No, I'm not accepting service.
This part was wild too. Like, I'll admit that I'm ignorant of the way that the legal system works in America, but first of all, it seemed crazy to me that you could just hand these documents to court to these police officers and they can just serve for you. But then the fact that they said they would serve him, I'm like, all right, so they're going to serve him then? And they're just like, no, actually, I don't want the service. And they're like, okay, we won't do it then. That is wild. Like, that is ridiculous. And then Ben was able to be served via email. It's not right.
I mean, Bricks and Minifigs is showing all of the signs of a keyboard warrior, but for some reason they think that I'm the keyboard warrior. At this point, it almost seems like everything Bricks and Minifigs is doing, for some reason they think that I'm the one that's the one doing it.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you guys. Hopefully no more issues. There's so many other things that this guy could be talking about, right?
100%. But sometimes it's a sunk cost fallacy. They just think, I put so much time and effort into this. I gotta make sure something happens.
And that seems like projection.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, Ammon just completely proved my point. Obviously, I'm not suffering from the sunk cost fallacy at all. Ammon's the one suffering from the sunk cost fallacy. I mean, they literally already admitted to me that they've held onto the Legos for so long, it's not worth it for them to give it back to us anymore.
I'm not going to distribute those things at this point. We've kept them on hold for this long, so.
Let's see what else Bricks and Minifigs is accusing me.
It's not even a sunk cost fallacy because Ben has an active reason to stay in this, not just for the moral reasons, but specifically because it makes him a lot of money and it's his job. And now I'm not saying he's just doing it for the money. However, what do you mean sunk cost fallacy? He's making money every step of the way, unless he just loses it all in the lawsuit, of course.
Well, they're suing me for defamation. But this entire time, Bricks and Minifigs is actually the ones defaming me.
They themselves say, hey, you guys stole this product from this person. If you don't give it back, I'm going to burn the place down.
Let's go to the next thing Bricks and Minifigs is accusing me of. Extortion, when they're the ones actually extorting me by saying if I don't let them steal the Legos from us, they're going to make up a reason to throw me in jail.
You stole them, bitch.
I stole the Legos?
Yeah, you're a fucking thief.
Dang. Okay.
You can shut the fuck up. That's your fucking choice.
Bricks and Minifigs is also getting me for RICO charges.
They're charging Reckless Ben for RICO. I think it is more likely that the police are guilty of RICO.
Who's this guy? He seems familiar. He's like a LawTuber guy, right? I just don't know who it is.
Right?
It's actually RICO, though.
If you look at the CEO's previous businesses, he actually got sued for RICO. He's the one guilty of RICO, not me. They're also accusing me of sending a sniper to shoot out the windows of the McNeff house.
You guys want to come to?
This part is just like fucking unhinged.
You can see the window and see where they were shooting from.
Is it Luss? That name sounds familiar. I'm not sure who it is, but there's someone that brings up Luss all the time. The name escapes me.
It could be a sniper blade on the hill.
When the police got there, they realized it was actually a construction worker who accidentally shattered the window.
It seems more likely that it happened from construction work than it happened from some random people across the way.
But even after all this, they still go online and say it was me.
He's trying to get
people across the way.
But even after all this, they still go online and
I'm probably gonna. Reckless Ben will investigate all the innocent people that he has hurt. Will Reckless Ben investigate all the innocent people he has hurt? Or who?
say it was me. He's trying to get Ben Schneider.
The father seems completely crazy as well, by the way. Well, the father lost his company to the kids like for a legal battle. That's like an entire other story.
Like attempted murder. He's basically trying to set Ben Schneider up for attempted murder when meanwhile it was a nail from his own construction worker.
So what's the moral of the story here? It looks like everything bad Bricks and Minifigs is doing, they think that I'm the one that's doing the bad thing. It makes no sense.
So, just to let you know, we call it double blind. The person who committed the crime may or may not be in the lineup or depicted. So I will give this to you. You'll have as much time as you need to choose someone or to not choose anyone. Whenever you're able to feel that you have ID'd somebody, just ask that you circle it and then show me.
This is some cool music. It like sounds like Stranger Things.
And then like that. Perfect. Okay. There you go. Okay. Cool.
I feel like this was like the final step that I needed. This is legit. We've been able to verify who he is now.
Yep.
So the police put on this big performance to make it look like they're going to all this work to verify the facts. When in reality, they already know who I am. They already subpoenaed Google. They already watched my
All right, I want to see that subpoena notice.
to verify the facts. When in reality, they already know who I am. They already subpoenaed Google.
All right, so if this is from Detective Medina Dore, was it Dore? I don't know. Pursuant to the search warrant issued in the above referenced matter, we have conducted a diligent search for documents and information accessible. So the police issued this. All right, that makes more sense. It's still pretty fucking wild that just Google just gave them this information before the discovery phase of the court case. Because then it's like I mean, would this be available? Like if this is from the fork, if this is for the fork case compared to the actual Bricks and Minifigs case, are they going to have access to this information as well? Because that's like it's detective, obviously. That's like a crazy advantage that Bricks and Minifigs has if they get access to this as well. I would like to think there's a separation of this, and this is just from the first case that Ben like defended himself, but like that's it certainly erodes my confidence in Google products.
Google. They already watched my entire first Lego video. They already went through all my search history. To me, this just feels like a
What the fuck is this?
Google. They already watched my entire first Lego video.
This is just, I just hate seeing this. This actually drives me fucking nuts. There's like two kinds of people in the world: those that keep their Gmail like inbox empty, and those that have like 5,000 unanswered emails. Ben has 25,000 unanswered emails. This is ridiculous. Stop it. Get some help. I mean, to be fair, maybe this was happened after you uploaded the videos and everyone said Elon Musk was important and stuff like that. I don't know, but look, I'm just gonna say when I see someone and their Gmail inbox isn't cleared out. You've got unread emails in there. If you've got 4 or 5, that's fine. If you've got more than 100, get your life fucking together, okay? Get your life together.
I already went through all my search history. To me, this just feels like a staged performance so they can show the world, hey, look, we verified everything, when if they would have just put an equal amount of effort into watching the raw footage I submitted to them, they would have...
I have 10,000 plus. Why? Why? You have 7,000? You guys are fucking nuts. I can't stand having unread emails in my inbox. Like the notification just drives the noise the fuck out of me.
Found out that Ammon's just completely lying to them, but for some reason
Maybe I have autism. I don't know though.
they didn't. A few weeks later, when I ended up going to court, this was the state's response.
I think there's dozen of us. Okay, there's dozens of us that have this unread email anxiety.
And the prosecutor is Benjamin Schneider here.
Yes.
If you want to take care of that today, we could do what we call a plea in abeyance.
Were you able to see the footage I submitted to the police of our interaction?
All right, this part I'm going to go back here because I was talking over a little bit. But this conversation with the prosecutor is pretty crazy.
For some reason, they didn't. A few weeks
Bloody Stein gifted 2 subs, much appreciated.
later, when I ended up going to court, this was the state's response.
My name is Nick Nielsen. I'm the prosecutor. Is Benjamin Schneider here?
Yes.
If you want to take care of that today, we could do what we call a plea in abeyance.
Were you able to see the footage I submitted to the police of our interaction?
I have not watched it, no.
Okay, because in that footage, you can clearly see that the second he tells us to leave, where we say, okay, we'll leave. And then he calls the police and said that we threatened to burn down the building and shoot everyone inside. And he was just making up all these lies, which you can clearly see in the footage that we submitted. We were being respectful the whole time. We left the second he told us to.
Sorry, let me look.
And so it makes sense why the police would take me to court because, I mean, he's threatening that we're going to burn down the building and shoot everyone, but we did nothing. Like, he's just saying that because he's trying to. I'm a documentary maker, so I'm making a documentary on the thing. So his logic is if he throws me in jail, then if he makes up a reason for me to go to jail, then I won't be able to expose them for their crimes. So that's the what's going on. It's clear as day in the footage if you watch it. It seems like they're just making up a bunch of false information in order to silence criticism.
But did you submit that to the police officer?
Yes.
Is the footage going such that it's still going like when you step out the door?
It starts from when we're in the elevator before we talk to him to when we were back in the elevator going back down.
Obviously, a video doesn't necessarily show everything that possibly happened.
So this is just like infuriating, and this is why prosecutors have no souls and need to burn forever in purgatory or something. I guess they wouldn't be burning in purgatory. They'd have to go around to one of the lanes of hell. But anyway, it's like, how do you prove a negative? Like, this is ridiculous. Well, it doesn't show that you didn't, like, no, you have to show that he said these things. This is patently absurd.
The state of Utah, the raw video that shows everything that possibly could have happened is not credible and could not have shown everything that possibly could have happened. And they didn't even watch it. They're literally just taking Ammon's word for everything and completely.
Like, what was the point of asking him? Like, have you submitted this to police? Yes. Well, it doesn't matter. So what was the? Like, it's such a fucking waste of time.
Ignoring all the evidence.
Look, some I assume are good people, but you have to prove it to me.
So where does this leave me now? Not only am I being charged with a bunch of mystery crimes in American Fork, Utah, but I'm also being charged with a second-degree felony up to 15 years in jail in Provo, Utah. And now that they have written proof that I'm committing all of these insane crimes against them, I mean, obviously Bricks and Minifigs just made up everything, but that's not how the court sees it. The court thinks that these are real. And for whatever reason, the court wouldn't let me share my side. They only heard Bricks and Minifigs' side.
Ben's side was not in the room, was not heard. The court signed an order erasing his published work on the strength of the company's verified complaint and the company's motion.
And like, I'll go back a bit, but that really kind of exemplifies why he should have had a lawyer in the courtroom with him for that case. I think it sounds like he did a pretty good job by himself. However, I think if he had an experienced lawyer with him, they may have been able to see these traps coming forward, and they could have got a much better result.
With no one there to say a word against it.
Yeah, the judge granted a temporary restraining order, preventing me from even talking about Bricks and Minifigs, which sucks because this was the night I hit 1 million subscribers, and all my friends threw a giant surprise party for me.
Hold on a second.
And all my friends threw a giant surprise party for me.
All right. I just wanted to confirm my suspicions that they had Lego strippers, okay? This appears to be a woman in a bikini wearing a Lego head. It's not fair. It should have been me. All right. I mean, maybe it's not a stripper, but it's just someone in underwear.
Yeah, Bricks and Minifigs gets to just keep spreading their lies about me, and
he's getting bricked up.
I just have to sit in silence, and there's nothing I can do to
I said it before I saw that in chat.
Stop them. It's crazy to think about how much public support I was getting.
$200,000 Lego dispute.
All right, let's see if we can name all the lawyers. There was Law with Mike, right?
That's turning into
Is it Law with Mike? I know that guy.
one of the craziest legal cases and an internet crusade that
Don't know this guy. His nose and ears are too large.
just exploded.
A $200,000.
All right, Coffee Zealous knew this guy.
This $200,000
All right, Philip DeFranco. By the way, I think Philip DeFranco is such a piece of shit.
Lego scandal is literally one of the
What's up, you beautiful bastards? He's a wanker.
craziest things I've ever seen.
I think this might be the best video
Asmongold, we know this guy.
I've seen. This is one of the crazier stories.
Charlie
I've ever
Penguin.
covered.
Ludwig. Is that Brennan Buckingham? I'm not sure.
Reckless Ben.
There's the Donald Trump
One
impersonator.
of the crazier stories I think I've ever covered.
Run by Mormons. Reckless Ben. Reckless Ben.
It really seemed like the entire
They had Schmiegel. What is his name? Legal Eagle? Legal Schmiegel?
Run by Mormons. Reckless Ben. Reckless Ben.
Like, you got Hassan in there. There's something very Schmiegel-like whenever I see Legal Eagle. I think it is the nose size or something. I don't know. Something about it. It just reminds me of Gollum. Shane Gillis. Yeah, I know his name. I love Shane Gillis. Oh, it's Umperville. My mistake. The other guy was Umperville, not Brennan Buckingham.
It really seemed like the entire internet was uniting to stand up to this bully of a company.
Bricks and Minifigs can stuff it.
Brick by brick. Brick by brick. Brick by brick.
Oh, look, it's Ricky Berwick. That's a surprise one.
It really did seem like we were right about to get the Legos back, but I was wrong. Now the court has silenced me, and it looks like all the work I put into this was just for nothing. However, people were pretty upset that I was silenced and decided to protest.
The Lego protests?
It sucks that I'm not even allowed to be a part of this movement anymore. Or maybe I can be here. I just have to be in disguise so no one recognizes me.
No.
Are you Ethan Ralph? No, I'm not Ethan Ralph.
All right, I'm here with, what was your name?
I'm Jerome. Just here to support the cause. Just American Smart Global. Just here to support.
Justice for Heroin Kid?
Here with Jerome.
I spent the rest of the day.
All right, let's see. Mormons again? Question mark. Bricks and Minifigs. Heroin Kid is my bro. What are they calling him? Heroin Kid? Is that like a nickname for because he looks like he's is this a meme that I don't know? Is it political? What does it mean?
Protesting for the cause, and not a single person here recognized who I actually am. And maybe the protesting works because after a full month of remaining silent, I finally have an announcement.
Oh, look, I don't need this disguise anymore because I have my freedom of speech back, baby. I can say whatever I want. I can say Bricks and Minifigs sucks. I can say Bricks and Minifigs such old people. And look, I just said it. I'm not in jail, which is sick. We got our First Amendment rights back. Yeah.
And now that I have my freedom of speech back, everyone is wondering
This is a pretty wild parallax effect.
Bricks and Minifigs can make up for the fact that they made up all these lies about me to take away my freedom.
Imagine being out of the loop on this. I actually don't know. Is it a Reddit thing?
Of speech. Most legal experts are saying I could easily win millions of dollars from Bricks and Minifigs, but instead, I have a better solution.
If they want to apologize, they can say that they're sorry by doing the chicken dance. And I will take that as a sincere form of apology. And once I do the chicken dance, then I will know that Bricks and Minifigs is sorry, and we can finally move on to the next video series. It'll be awesome. So you guys might be thinking, why do you want...
Oh, I know this song. I used this song in Cringe Band when we were driving around Shikoku. That was really... It's a good song. It's a good track from Epidemic Sound. They're really overusing this parallax effect, though, but it's a nice effect. What was I going to say here?
Do the chicken dance.
Oh, the chicken dance. There we go. I have several canon memories that involve the chicken dance. And I at least have one family video that is very embarrassing of me doing the chicken dance as like a 7-year-old. I'm gonna be honest. I loved the fucking chicken dance when I was a kid. I was doing it all the time. Anyway, if those ever met the internet's eyes, I would be over for me. I'd have to delete my channel and just leave straight away. They're that bad. I think I was even doing the chicken dance as early as 5 years ago. It's not good. It's not good, bros. It's a certified hood classic. Well, there you go.
There's actually a reason. So this entire time, Bricks and Minifigs always says the right thing, but then their actions don't match their words at all.
I mean, I disagree. I think they're saying the wrong thing constantly, but they're just like, yeah, they're just lying all the time.
So I was thinking, well, if they give an apology, they might say the right things, you know, but...
What the fuck is this graffiti on like these these rocks and stuff? It's just, I love my bud.
They're not actually going to mean it. So by doing the chicken dance, I'm going to basically just be giving them another opportunity to do the right thing, not just with their words, but with their actions. And once they decide to do the right thing, then I'll move on to the next video series and never talk about Bricks and Minifigs again. And also make sure to check us out at www.westealfromoldpeople.com, because right now we have 2 new Lego sets for sale that you can buy right now. One of Joshua Johnson and one of Ammon McNeff. And we're only making 500 of each, and once all 500 of each sell out, we're never making any more.
I assume these were sold out in like 3 minutes. Let's have a look at the like we steal from old people. All right, let's actually see. I'm curious about this pricing of these. They're being sold for 8. That's actually very reasonable price. 8,000 yen. That's like I want to say like $55 for like the amount of people pay Funko Pops for. That's like a pretty good price. You just imagine these are probably actually going to sell for quite a lot of money. People love this fucking story. Is there anything else interesting on this site? If you're old, we'll definitely steal from you. Our CEO, our finest CEO since Jack Conte. Rob is the most vulnerable and underprotected member of society. Old people, older adults. Reassure, repeat. Nice. Sign up and we might mail you. It's a fun website.
And you gotta buy them now because someday they're gonna sell for like $1 million or something. They're gonna be collectibles. It's gonna be sick. Also, subscribe to Patreon. You'll get tons of behind the scenes, tons of extra footage, full interviews. Also, part 4 is coming soon. If you subscribe to Patreon, you'll be the first to watch it. And also, subscribe to part 5, subscribe to part 6, part 7, all the way to part 100. We're doing 100 parts. My lawyer said
100 episodes, Morty. 100 episodes. Rick and Morty. 100 episodes. Like Lego Company. 100 episodes. 1 episode a week. It's gonna be 3 years of the legal case. 100 years. Forever.
Bricks and Minifigs sues me, which they've still not dropped their lawsuit, then it'll be at least 2 years and 52 weeks a year. That's 104 parts at least. So come back all the way until 100.
Like this does seem like a Rick and Morty bit. I'm going to be honest. Oh, well, that was fun. That was fun though. So it looks like we got more to look forward to. What is this? The husband and Lauren wife team. I'm not going to watch this video. I'm not going to watch this video. I'm just curious. I'm just curious to see this. This is like this is like Uncharted. Wait, pause. God damn it. The husband, Lauren wife team, 100,000 subscribers. It's just like how many fucking like LordTubers are there these days? Wasn't that episode 1? No, that's technically part 3. Of course, there's been a lot of other parts and adjacent material which I've tried to cover. Although I think there's a lot of people covering this story, but I'm very invested in seeing the resolution. All right, I want to see where's the husband and wife team or legal team?
Disagree about how that closure went down. The Salem store then changed hands twice. And
against multiple people. I am offended when someone finds out that somebody they sued shouldn't.
Do I want to do the fit check on this guy? He's not the worst dressed lawyer that I've covered, I think. The wife left. Steal his look. I'm not a fan of this. Not a fan of this. The suspenders. No, he's still got his wedding band on. Surely she hasn't left. I'm just curious. Where's the wife? It seems to be only. I'm kind of like we're going off on a tangent now for a little bit. Hold on. If you'll indulge me, the husband and the husband and wife law team. Kind of cute. Got this weird thing. I don't know. Has anyone else got this? When I have to like scroll wheel out before I get my scroll bar back. Where's the wife in this? Is she actually left him? All right, she's in 1 year ago, 7 million views. Don't be fooled by firms that place quotas on their attorneys. Is this like an ad, a Facebook ad or something?
We watch these lawyers get on TV and say they're going to treat their clients like family when we know they put.
All right, is this a looks match? I feel like he did pretty well. Your boy didn't do too bad, did he?
secret mandatory quotas on their lawyers. That means your own lawyer pressures you into a premature, terrible result. Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. We don't set settlement quotas.
All right, now I understand how he landed her.
We measure success by achieving
Very loud.
each client's best outcome and by each client's happiness.
Do your research after a serious injury. Call the husband and wife law team first.
It's like the perfect match. He's deaf in one of his ears. Sorry, it's rude. They're probably very lovely people. I don't want to be mean to them. I'm just saying. Oh dear, dear, dear. How'd they get 7 million views? That must have been like, it must have been like a YouTube promotion or something. But there's no way. There's no way. 5 million views. Wait, 30 seconds, 5 million views. There's no way. How did this happen? It must be paid viewing. Lawyers love to act like they care, but do they back it up? All right, I want to see. I'm enthralled by this like adorable couple. But when did the wife disappear? When's the last time we see the wife? She's on the thumbnail there. Did she actually leave him? It's got the reacting to Better Call Saul. I mean, he's getting really good views, like almost 100,000 on every video. Lawyer injury reacts to Final Destination scenes. 300,000 views. Is it that easy to get views on LawTube? How are lawyers fucking this up? But wait, I can't find the wife. We're going back 2 months. All right, she's there. The wife is present as of 7 months ago. Looks like he does all of the media reacts. But it looks like she disappeared 7 months ago. That's not a good sign. Surely she's got to be in here 2 weeks ago. No, the earliest I can find her is 7 months ago. I don't know if I might be over chat.
Empty slogans and cute jingles. Lawyers love to act like they care. Do they back it up? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. One study found that half of all clients were unhappy with the lawyer they hired. The #1 complaint.
Wait, but what do you mean 1/2? Like, of course. Because in basically every legal dispute, there's a winner and a loser. It's about 50-50. Like, on average, lawyers lose about half of the stuff that they do. So, of course, 50% of people are like upset because they lose.
A total lack of communication.
We take client happiness seriously. That's why we survey all our clients and know that over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
All right, one more.
Notice all of a sudden there's a bunch of lawyers saying they're going to fight for you. Yeah, until you read the fine print below them. Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer.
We're all thinking it's he didn't JF her. Maybe she just doesn't feel like being in the videos or something.
A husband and wife law team. If you look closely at that fine print, you'll see not an attorney in this state.
Wait, you don't trust him because he doesn't have a belt and suspenders? Why would you wear a belt if you have suspenders? The suspenders are there so you don't need the belt.
Or not a law firm.
You never trust your future in the hands of someone other than a serious, experienced trial lawyer. And you definitely can't trust someone who won't even tell you who they are.
Do your research after a serious injury.
Why is she always yelling, though?
Serious injury.
Am I wrong about this? Like, they may have looks matched, but they're not voice matched, you know what I mean?
And you definitely can't trust someone who won't even tell you who they are.
Do your research after a serious injury.
She's yelling. Like, stop it. I'm like, I don't know. This is like the stupidest tangent I think we've been on before. All right, let me just see one video where the wife is in it. Oh wait, maybe I was being dishonest because maybe I was searching by most popular rather than most recent. Wait, go to latest. No, I was doing it right the last time. All right, so 7 months ago, is that the last time we could find her? 3 months, 4 months. All right, okay, yeah, 7 months. No, she's just like 7 months, then she disappears. All right, lawyer reacts to ridiculous driver fails caught on dash cam. Trial lawyer reacts. Or maybe she's just on a case or something. Who knows? Lawyers behaving badly in court.
Wow, those cameras are amazing.
That's your take? Oh no, he's thinking through who's the
I want to see that. I'm doing the body language check. We're trying to find out. We're trying to find out if there's some chemistry going on here.
That's so funny.
Woo!
He gave his O face.
I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team.
And we're going to comment on some things some lawyers have done in court that we heard maybe they shouldn't have done.
We're off now to Raleigh, North Carolina, in the
I
Wake
wonder
County
if they-
Courthouse.
I wonder if they have the DUI guy scandal. Because technically DUI guy was just in the gallery. It doesn't really, he wasn't acting as a lawyer. Oh wait, is there Johnny Depp here? No. Let's go to one of these like content pics and see what happens here.
A criminal by the plaintiff.
Good morning, Mr. Abrams. Do you understand why you've been asked to give your deposition today?
No. Literally, I've seen thousands of people give an oath in a deposition, but from the way he raised his hand to the way he started, this is not going to end well. Now, I know we're watching this, so I know it.
He's got a weak hand.
But as someone who's done it, I could have already told you this is going to be a memorable one.
To say tensions are high in the room would be an understatement. Asking the questions off camera is the plaintiff's lawyer, Tom Werge. And on the other side of the table is Abrams' lawyer, Neil Sullenberger.
Are you aware that your firm, Abrams and Associates, is a defendant in a lawsuit that's
Oh,
going to
okay.
trial next
Sorry, I got some information on the other side here. I'll play this for a second. I'll just load up some stuff.
Yes. Have you had your deposition taken before?
I think so.
When have you had your deposition taken before?
I don't recall.
How many times?
I don't recall.
You're sitting here today under oath. You have no idea whether you've been deposed before?
I've answered that question, objective form, move on.
That's so funny. That's a litigation attorney
Is it funny?
acting almost like he's his own lawyer.
Got his role.
Yeah.
Well, his lawyer is supposed to say objective form. He's supposed to let his lawyer do that, but he's a lawyer, so he couldn't help himself.
Quick way to object.
Hey, that's very relatable. Backseat driving from a lawyer to being defended by another lawyer. Who could imagine that happening?
During a deposition, and in effect, ask the attorney to clarify the question.
Have you been deposed?
Objective
before?
form. Objective form, move to certify the question. If you feel that I haven't answered, then you can move for a sanction.
We're going to go ahead and stop the deposition at this point and dial the special master. Good morning.
Special master. Court-appointed attorney who can make evidentiary rulings on the spot.
Yes, we are in the middle.
Why do lawyers have such faggotry like terms? Super lawyer, special master, judge.
Of a deposition this morning.
But when the special master isn't available, plaintiff's attorney Tom Werge asks the same question again.
Mr. Abrams, have you had your deposition taken before?
And gets the same answer.
Objective form.
Asked and answered, move on.
You need to answer the question.
The question was answered. Excuse me, have her read it back.
Yeah. Mr. Abrams, this is not your deposition.
Please don't harass me.
No, I'm not harassing
We're
you.
gonna move for
I'm
sanctions
asking
against
you to.
If you're not
I'm being oppressed.
Just answer the question.
I just want to point out one thing. This is literally over him going, I don't remember if I took a deposition. What are they fighting about? They haven't even gotten anything. Nothing's even happened. And they're fighting about this. This.
All right. There we go. I think we've seen enough of these. Sorry, there's the tangent is over for that. These ties, I don't care for them. They're too flashy. It's like, oh, I'm going to wear normal clothes, but then have a silly tie. Tee-hee, so daring. All right. So I found this in the interim. For those that don't know, the female detective officer, Medina Dore, is of the Provo PD. She also is being sued in a wrongful death case because she took someone who said they took a bunch of drugs to the hospital, but she didn't tell the hospital and then proceeded to take the person to jail without getting them treatment where they died from the overdose. She needs to be fired. I've tried to post this comment repeatedly and it keeps disappearing. Yeah, of course, because of all the things. Like, what is going on? What is going on in Utah? There's so much shit here. Oh, dear. Wait, where to go? Where'd the reckless Ben stuff go? There we go. Female cops, gun drawn. Yeah, no, it's like a death sentence. Be careful there. All right, boys. Ladies, I suppose. There's probably one lady in here. Hope you enjoyed. Little early morning stream, bit of a chill one. Tomorrow we'll probably go over to the Jeremy stuff. I had to take a break. Going over too much of it, like I want, it's a bit much. It's a bit much seeing his face every fucking day. So we got some new stuff though. We got the vlogs. I think the newest vlog might be out now. Hold on a second. I can't really watch it now because then I'll be depriving myself of a proper show tomorrow. But I wonder if the next quarter, I want to see the next quartering vlog because I want to see his second one, right? But I think we're going to go over there. Okay, it's not out yet. He went to the ER. But he says ER like a donkey. He's like, I went to the ER. 5 p.m. Central. What the fuck is that? 5 p.m. Central to my time. Let's see. I don't know what that is. What? I don't know. I assume by the time I wake up tomorrow, it'll be out. So we'll go over that. We'll go over the other Jeremy stuff, and we should have a fun old time. We might even have the mysterious answer of who is going to be the illustrious female. Like, why don't you let's do a little vote. Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think it's going to be on the Jeremy next show? He's got the female co-host. Is it going to be Chrissy Meyer, which is the obvious pick? But he did say that this person identifies as female. Could it Brittany Venti? I don't think so. That would be a shock, though. That would be like the pretty good betrayal twist. Let's see if it's going to be Frogan. It's going to be Heather. Oh, actually, Reed and Steele. I had the same idea. Blair White. Like, this is my like crazy pick. I think it's almost certainly going to be like Chrissy Mayer, but Jer did say that it was going to be someone that identifies as a female, and he has said that he would like to be Brokeback Mountain with Blair White. If it is Blair White, I just want everyone to know that I had this idea. Like, this is like a 1% chance, basically. Like, 1% chance it's Blair White, but it'd be very funny if it was. Or random washed up e-girl. I mean, I suppose it could be. Like, roaming millennial something. What is her name? The Chinese one. 41% chance, perhaps. Blair is too based for Jeremy. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm curious. I mean, let's face it. It's almost definitely Christy Meyer. I hope it is, because I have a funny idea for a bit of a meme, but I don't know if I want to invest the time into it, because memes aren't as profitable as they used to be. But if it is Christy Meyer, then I have a kind of a funny idea for something that I might put together. But I won't tease too much about that. Keanu Thompson? Oh, nah. I think that surely she wouldn't go over to Jeremy's side. That'd be nah, it wouldn't be Keanu. That would be funny though. I don't think it'll be anyone in the Dappleverse. They're too convinced. They're too in their ways. Trying to see if there's any other good answers. What if it's Anissa? That would be very funny. What if it is like the best chance, like the happy ending for Jeremy would be Brie Larson? What if it's Brie Larson? She's so down bad. Mandane Matt and address, that's a good one. Only Chrissy is definite. I mean, I think it's Chrissy. There's so much evidence that it's going to be Chrissy, and that's going to be very funny, because if it is Chrissy, then that just cements his show as a place you go when you've got nowhere else to go, because that's all that keeps happening to his guests. What about Blair Black? No, see, Blair White is going to be on Jeremy's show, and Blair Black's going to be on his wife's bedroom. Let's see if we're going to get other picks here. I think we got them all. His wife, look, I'll tell you why it's not going to be his wife. It can't be his wife, because she wouldn't even turn off his truck's lights while he was working. She respects him so little. There's no chance it's his wife. That'd be so funny. It would be me. Come on now. Frosk, that would also be very funny. Chrissy would do it for like $100. I thought she would just do things for free, right? Isn't that what she did? She was like the Craigslist charity worker. All right. That's enough jibber jabbing, guys. I'm going to get to bed and do some stuff, and I'll see you in about 12, 13 hours. Should be good. We'll have a bit of fun. Hopefully that next part is out. Hopefully we've got some more fun stuff to look at. I know we already got some stuff lined up. Until then, peace. See ya.